Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Panda Hobby. Today is April 24th, another update from Panda Hobby. And today we'll have a lot to cover. So if you guys are first time coming to watch these streams, we are going to cover a lot of different updates and a lot of information for you guys today. First of all, we're going to cover the new shipping methods and shipping procedures that we have. Oh hi! And then second, we're going to talk to you about a new shipping service that we're going to offer. And third, we're going to talk about all the new Bandai products that just been announced. So those are very, very exciting. And then we're also going to go into teaching you guys how to paint. We're going to cover just the basics of how to paint, how to mix it, how to cover what is an airbrush. So if you guys are in the market for an airbrush, and if you guys are looking to, get your hands into trying airbrushing and those kind of stuff, you're not going to be too intimidated because we're going to show you how to work an airbrush, and so you won't be very new at it. We're also going to talk about top coating because we have a lot of questions recently about top coating, and as well as a very preliminary cover of how to do chrome. Just because every one of you guys has been asking me how to do chrome, I want to cover how to do chrome in the most simplistic way and the most basic way, and then afterwards we're going to go from there. All right, so very good news for you guys all. Hey guys, what's up? Extremely exciting good news for you guys. We are actually working on improving our shipping methods. That's really good news for right now for everyone that lives in the GTA. What that means for you is with our new shipping method, you will get your package delivered in 1 to 2 days to your door. So no more of this delays or anything. It's going to be more faster and more streamlined. So you guys will get your packages very fast. So pretty cool. Now the list of GTAs includes cities such as Toronto, North York, Vaughan, Richmond Hill, Markham, Scarborough, Etobicoke, Brampton, Mississauga, Newmarket, Aurora, Stouffville, Pickering, Ajax, Whitby, and Oshawa. We're going to try to cover everyone in that vicinity, so if you guys made any package or made any orders from today going forward, expect your package to arrive much sooner than it originally does. So hopefully that is going to be very good news for you guys, because it's really exciting news for us. Yeah, so that is the update for right now. And we're going to cover some new Bandai products because those are pretty cool. Let me just try to find that thing again. I don't know why it refreshes. But yeah, there's a Fumina coming in, so that's pretty cool. And then, and also if you guys are actually wanting to pre-order your RG Impulse, Force Impulse, do so, because after this weekend, it will be removed from pre-orders because we're going to start making the orders. It's going to start coming in. This is going to be the last weekend to pre-order your RG Impulse as well as several other items. Any items that has been released in Japan will be taken off pre-order. So essentially, once it's released, then pre-order is gone because that's when we order and we're waiting it for it to come. All right, since this is not loading, I'm just gonna skip over the new Bandai products because from memory, I remember they have. Let me see. I really want to show you the Fumino. Well, anyways, we have the RG Eva that's announced. And then, what else is new? Let's see. Yes, this is the most low-tech way of showing you guys. We don't have the YouTube channel up yet where we have like the instant stream on top here in the corner. So we have a question. Travis asks, when is the EVA 02 going to be available for pre-order? So how we work is whenever Bandai releases a pre-order or announces a new product, they love to release that information first. They don't really send the information to us businesses until later on. So we're waiting for those information. And once we get those information, we'll make our order, and then we can post pre-orders up. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully in the next few days, maybe half a week, we'll get pre-orders information for all the new items that Bandai just announced. Okay, screw it. Not gonna look for it. All right, so you guys know what Bandai has up new anyways. We're gonna probably create pre-order and we're gonna post it very soon once we get the information. So show you next time. I'll post it on to the Panda page. Let's get down to the good stuff. Today's stream, we want to cover how to paint. So I want to talk to you about how to paint, and for those of you that are just kind of getting into painting, thinking about getting into painting, and you're just too, you're too worried about it, you are too nervous or scared of trying yourself because you don't know where you're going off of, where to start off, then this is exactly for you. So it's how to paint. Now, I am going to base this completely on Mr. Hobby products, just because they're much more easier to work with. I have the most experience with Mr. Hobby products, and they're more forgiving compared to all the other paints on the market. And honestly, if you're a Gundam builder, you kind of want the lacquer, you kind of want the more durability, the shinier colors, because you're probably going to want to paint like chrome or like high gloss or metallic colors. Those colors usually tend to come out really, really well in lacquer paints. So that's why we're gonna use Mr. Hobby colors. So Mr. Colors are these guys. And get them in a jar. And if you are actually going to start painting, a lot of people tend to make this mistake. They buy one jar, and then they go and they just open a jar and then take a paintbrush and they paint it. So if you are a hand brusher and you want to hand paint, I will highly suggest to actually thin it out. So what thinning it out means is grabbing one of the thinners. There's actually a smaller size, but I currently don't think we have any in stock. Nick has any restocking news? I kind of want to save that for later because we have a lot of restock coming in, and one of them is actually a pretty good, all new products almost. So I'm going to save that till next time to talk about it. So thinning, back to painting. You're grabbing one of these bottles. Everyone makes a mistake of they just kind of take it over, like they just open it up and they start painting it. And they always come back and they say, oh, like, how do you get it so thin? How do you get it so, nicely smooth on the surface? It's all clunky. It's all, like, thick. I see brush strokes. The reason for it is hand brushing is very difficult. Compared to airbrushing, hand brushing is, like, 10 times more difficult. Just because you actually need experience and skills to master hand brushing. And airbrushing is relatively easy. Like, if you know how to pour this A into B, you pretty much know how to airbrush. So it's pretty fun. So if you're starting off with hand brushing, you can actually grab one of these guys, and then you grab one of these guys, and then you mix it. So the ratio is 1-to-1. What that means is you put 1 part thinner and then 1 part paint, and then you mix it. So we recommend always starting off grabbing one of these metal plates. You can always opt in and grab metal plates, or there's also different versions that we actually have, such as plastic ones or bigger ones, smaller ones. They all have different purpose and different uses for it, but basic use, we would suggest grabbing these metal plates because they're just generally much cheaper, and they're they are more like you don't really break them. They won't deteriorate or anything. So they will last you forever. So it's nice part of your toolkit to actually start off with. How I usually do it is I actually take like one of the. There's also spoons. And we do sell something called like a Mr. Mix too. It comes like this, but we're currently sold out of that. Thanks to you guys. It's like a little mixing tool, a little spoon on one side, and then a flat edge on the other side. And then you can just take it, like take one scoop of paint out, put it into the mixing plate, and then afterwards you take a dropper, which is one of these guys. And then you just squirt a little bit and you drop it in, trying to get the exact same volume. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that the thinner slash the paint is 1-to-1 ratio. So it's like 1 part thinner. If you use 1 millimeter, you use 1 millimeter paint, you use 1 millimeter thinner, that kind of stuff. But it's not rocket science. It's not exact chemistry. So I see everyone like they're going crazy, and then when they start painting, they go out and they buy all these different types of like, you know, droppers because they use the droppers for paint. And I'm like, why are you using the dropper for paint? And then they ask me like, okay, it's because I don't know how much paint I'm adding into the cup. I don't know how much paint I'm adding to the plate. Just eyeball it. It's okay. You don't have to be super exact because this hobby is very forgiving. Add too much paint, you can tell it's too thick. Thin it out a little bit more. Add too much thinner, you can add a little bit more paint. But you can always fix it at the end of the day, so you don't really require to be exact precise. It's not like it's gonna explode in your face and that kind of stuff, right? So we always suggest people not to use a dropper for paint just because it's really difficult, almost nearly impossible for you to clean the inside of the dropper. So what we usually use a dropper for is just for the thinner itself, and you just eyeball it. And then once you do it, you know, a few more times, you kind of get the idea of how thick or thin the painting is. So it's not really that big of a deal afterwards. But yeah, these ones are pretty good. They're almost like a must-have. We also suggest that you can get one of these, like a package of spoons, because these ones actually have the measurement on the bottom of how many milliliters and how many cc's are in there. And if you want to actually have an easier way to actually pour the paint out of your paint bottles, because you're kind of pouring it and then it ends up being all over the place, we even have spouts to actually allow you to, oh, that's really hard to see. Let me come over here. We even have spouts over here that works like this. That you put it on top of, you put it inside. Hey guys, how's it going? I see so many people coming on. It's like being nice to each other. It really makes me really happy about it. Like, I'm really happy that you guys are having a great time with each other. And again, these are videos for us to really connect with you guys, especially during these hard times when everyone's stuck at home. We really want to make these videos so that you guys can, you know, have at least an hour or two with us, enjoy your time, relax a bit, and hopefully you don't get too annoyed with my voice and my face. So that's really it. But yeah, so back to it. The way that the spout works is you can pop it in and then you can pour it out. The plastic is made so that the paint doesn't really stick onto it, so it's pretty good. That, and then also Mr. Color actually has several different ones. So you have the normal Mr. Colors, a lot of different options, colors, and then they also have the GX colors, so it has like pretty cool metallic colors as well. Thanks, man. Yeah, and then also back onto thinners. Now, thinner is in a very simple term. Thinner allows you to thin the paint, because a lot of the paint, when they come shipped to you, they're actually more thicker and they're actually more concentrated. Yes, that's the word, concentrated. So think about like concentrated juice. You want to like pour water and thin it out, and you want to make it more, you know, drinkable and digestible, right? Not thick. That's why a lot of people, when they come in and they just get the paint and they just paint straight from the jar, it's really thick. and it doesn't really come out that good. So we encourage everyone to go and thin out your paint. It's kind of like a must. It's more like it's a requirement. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's like a must. You have to thin out your paint. If not, your paint job is not gonna look that good. But you're gonna also look at thinners. There's actually 3 different thinners for Mr. Color, and I'm gonna try to explain to you in the most simplest terms what they're for. So we have the regular thinner, the blue label, Mr. Color thinner, and this thinner is your standard thinner. So it allows you to thin out any of the paints, and then after you can hand brush it, you can paint it. And then going forward, I'm going to start talking about how to airbrush and how to paint using an airbrush, because I believe that airbrushing is super easy, much more easier to paint than hand brushing. Like, I am an average, like I completely believe that anyone can paint very well with an airbrush. And it takes years and years of practice and mastering to master hand brushing. So I really truly appreciate and admire those that can actually hand brush. But if you're like me and you're just doing it for fun, airbrushing gets you an amazing result and amazing quality without that much of like required, like it's not a steep learning curve. Like, what I'm trying to say is it's very easy to learn. So this is your regular thinner. And then afterwards, you also have your leveling thinner. And then also there's a red label called rapid thinner. So what it is your regular thinner is your normal thinner. And your level thinner actually has retarder agent into it. So retarder agent causes the paint to dry slower. So it makes the paint stay in the liquid form, so it evens out, so you get that nice smooth surface. That is the best way to get, you know, like very high gloss paint or very shiny paint, because it's very smooth. I also have been getting any of the fake kits. Sorry, trying to read. We put the camera really far away today. So leveling thinner, it makes the paints dry slower. So you want very shiny kits, you want very smooth surface, then you want leveling thinner. Also works really well with some of the primers, because it allows it to level out and cause a really smooth surface for better paint adhesion and better cover. And the other one is actually rapid thinner. We're currently solo right now. I'm sorry, like, it's been pretty hectic shipping wise, so we're kind of low on some stock here and there. Rapid thinner is the opposite. Rapid thinner causes the paint to dry faster. So why you would want this is if you were to paint metallics or metal colors, those pigments in the paint is very watery. So what you end up doing is when you paint it, it ends up pooling to the sides, and it ends up being all like, you know, wavy and kind of like separating. So rapid thinner allows you to spray it and locks into place, so it stays very uniformed and dries really quickly. So all the pigments get locked in its own place. So that's pretty good. And the last product that I would suggest is that you must have is Mr. Tool Cleaner. A lot of people, what they end up doing is they end up using thinners to clean their tools. Like, if you paint with your paintbrush, you use it to clean it, you use it in your airbrush and everything, and they always come back saying, oh, I'm going through these so fast, it's getting so expensive. And I tell everyone, go do yourself a favor and grab a bottle of Mr. Tool Cleaner. It's a black label with red text. Bernard says, Friday afternoon seems like a good time to... Oh, it's too far. Good time to distress with a live stream like this. Thanks, Bernard. I just got my tool cleaner yesterday. Thanks, Panda Hobby. When would choose regular thinner over leveling thinner? Let me just finish the tool cleaner and I'll go back to your question, Keith. So tool cleaner is a very potent... Imagine it's like, it just dissolves paint. It just destroys paint. And you would use this to clean your airbrush, to clean your tools and everything. And I would teach everyone to save your tool cleaner so that you don't waste it. Everyone has this mindset that the moment you use the tool cleaner and it touches paint, you have to throw it away. No, it's so potent that I actually save it. I pour some into a jar, an empty jar, and then I use it to wash my paintbrushes, wash my tools, or anything like that. And it just gets more and more dark because it's dissolving more and more paint. And then once it gets too dark, it's not taking away paint, then I discard that solution. So I can use that multiple times, and I'm saving myself a lot of money. I'm saving myself a lot of the tool cleaner because I'm not using a little bit and dumping it. I'm using, like, let's say 30 millimeter of tool cleaner, and I'm putting it into a jar, and I'm reusing that 30 millimeter milliliters of tool cleaner non-stop multiple times until it gets too dirty, and then I'll discard it. Gunpla Parrot says, what are the advantages of tool cleaner over hardware store lacquer thinner? So my recommendation and my go-to answer, okay, my opinion and my answer for that is, when you need to go to Home Hardware, Home Depot, or wherever, and getting those kind of products, they're not made for plastic. They're not made for your delicate instruments, your paintbrushes, your airbrush, or anything. What end up happening is you might get a product that does not mix well with your paint. Not every single lacquer paint is actually truly lacquer. Some of them are different. Some of them are made differently. And what happens is, if you get a certain thing, you might end up wasting money because that lacquer thinner doesn't work well with your paint or anything. And for yourself saving, yeah, it seems like it's a really good deal because for half the price you get double the volume. But what you're actually trading off is you're trading off time, because now you have to test if that lacquer thinner works with your paint. If it doesn't clump up with your paint, does it adhere better with your paint? Because if your paint is completely destroyed by that lacquer thinner, it doesn't actually get, it doesn't actually adhere good onto your surface, onto your paint models. And at the same time, you might run the risk of damaging your kit because the plastic that's used might not be compatible with your lacquer thinner. And if you're using the lacquer thinner to, clean up your tools or anything, you might run the risk of damaging your tools as well. You'll be like, no, what do you mean? They're all metal. I'm like, no, I'm talking about your paintbrushes. Your synthetic hair should be like, your synthetic hair might not be compatible with your thinner, hence it will come off. The glue might come off. The O-rings or the closing of your airbrush might be dissolved because of whatever thinner that you're using. So at the end of the day is, if you have time, if you want to fiddle around with it, you want to figure out trial and error and save yourself a few bucks, by all means, go ahead. But what we always stand for is, we say is, if you want to enjoy the hobby, get the exact product that's made from the manufacturer of the paint, because they make it so damn easy so that their thinner works exactly for their paint, and they make it so that you have a good time. So if you want to enjoy yourself, get the exact same brand. Just don't even bother. It cures so much headache. Because I've tried it. I went to Home Depot. I've gotten all these other things. I ended up a jar of acetone that literally doesn't do anything. I ended up getting all these different types of thinners and solvents that turns out it doesn't even eat away my lacquer paints. And then this, a drop of it just clears on my entire spoon. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'm done. Because I ended up buying 3 different types of bottles of different purpose cleaners and thinners and acetone and different types of that from Home Hardware, and I have all these jars of industrial chemicals sitting at my house, and I don't know what to do with it anymore because they don't work. So that's my suggestion with it, is if you have the time to trial and error, by all means. But 9 out of 10 times, most people, they always end up wasting more money. So at the end of the day, if you want to have more of an easier time to do it, then I would suggest sticking to your brand of your the paints. If you want to try, there's always that one person that figures the right combination and the right chemicals to use, because they're just they're just one of those kind of people that can figure it out. And yeah, they save money, but at the end of the day, it's to me, I don't know, I enjoyed so much more using this than the heavy smell of acetone and the industrial cleaners that I used to use, and I was just not having a good time, because I would have gloves and gas mask and everything, and it would like gas up my entire house, and it just got really, really bad. This one, I'm like, oh, okay, this smells like candy, you know, well, very, very strong alcoholic candy. All right, back to the question of when to use normal thinner and leveling thinner. Normal thinner is amazing for normal colors, any colors, primers, any of that. Leveling thinner is great for if you want to have an extremely smooth surface. So if you want high gloss red, if you want to, there's a primer Surfacer 1200 from Mr. Hobby that specifically requires leveling thinner. They just work amazing because of the way that the primer Surfacer 1200 or 1000, I forgot, is different from Surfacer 1000. There's a different kind of chemical inside. So they actually work a lot better with leveling thinner. And leveling thinner, I would suggest using normal colors such as like, you know, red, blue, green, those kind of colors. Don't use leveling thinner for metallic colors. Don't use leveling thinners for metallic colors. Now you might be asking me, what's the difference between metallic colors and metal colors? Metallic colors is like, it's like a paint job on your car. If you ever go to a car and you look at your paint job, it's that metallic black. So it's like a black with all these sparkles on it. That's a metallic color. So any of these paints will have these kind of like sparkly effect into it, and that it's usually considered as a metallic color. Metallic blue, metallic green, those kind of stuff. It's not metal. It's not supposed to be metal. It's a metallic paint job. A metal color is is like chrome, titanium, silver. It's paints that try its best to simulate a metal element, a metal ore. So you have like paints such as like, you know, ore, copper, you know, gold. Those are metal colors. Metallic color paints are a little bit thinner than normal paint in terms of the amount of pigments that they have inside, the pigment to solvent ratio. It's a little bit more watery. So metallic colors don't really require rapid thinner, but can be used with regular thinner and rapid thinner. However, metal colors will require a rapid thinner, most likely, or a regular thinner, because they're just super, super smooth. I wonder if I have some to show you. Okay, this one, let me come to you. This one's a metallic color. I wonder if you guys can see it on the cap. Anyways, guess that was a bad way. I'll try to. What we here? So this is a metallic color. Can't see anything? Okay. Anyways, I tried. Okay, I tried. I'll take a picture. But these ones are more metal colors. So you would want to use, I mostly use Mr. Thinner for all my colors. I would only dab into a leveling thinner if I want a super smooth surface. Later on, I'll probably, later on when I explain how to do a chrome paint job, you'll understand why you'll use a leveling thinner and versus a regular thinner, because I'll cover that black aspect of it, of doing a base coat for the silver part. But yeah, so again, these are the main solvents that you probably use. We're going to stick with Mr. Color just because we're starting to have a lot of different types of paint lines here at Panda Hobby, and each of them are a little bit different from each other, but Mr. Color is kind of a very good standard because it's a ratio of 2:1 for airbrushing and 1:1 for hand brushing. It kind of applies across the board to most of the other paints as well, give or take, like, you know, a little bit here and there, but you can actually, once you learn Mr. Hobby, Mr. Color paints, you can pretty much pick up any paint and paint with them. just because you kind of get the concept. They work very well. They're very forgiving, and they come up very, very good. So it makes you really, really happy. It makes me really happy whenever I do a paint job, and I really like them. So yeah, that is part one of our discussion. Oh, not to mention, if you guys are starting painting and airbrushing, right? Airbrushing, you need 2-to-1 ratio. So you need 2 parts thinner, 1 part paint. Huge word of advice. Extremely huge word of advice. Mix more paint than you need. So the entire process of painting, you want to look at your paint job and you want to see, hey, I have these white parts, I want to have these black parts, I have these red parts. Mix more. If you have 3 parts, mix enough to cover 4 parts. If you have like 3 or 4 runners, just mix the whole bottle. What you want, the reason why is because you don't want to paint halfway and run off your color. Because if you mix it again, your ratio is going to be different. No matter how accurate you try to be, it's going to be different. It's going to look different. And what you want is you want to be consistent. So you don't want, your shoulder that you painted 2 days ago versus the shoulder that you're painting today. You're using the same black, but it's coming out different colors. And it kind of looks weird because once you kind of put it together, it will look off. You will find that it looks different. And so I will always highly suggest you to mix more than you require. Now, when you paint, there's something called a paint station and paint sticks. So paint sticks comes in these format. For you to clip onto. Oh, there we go. Yay! These for you to clip onto your piece. So it allows you to clip onto your piece and paint. I know a lot of people that when they start painting, they get their airbrush and everything. They're like, okay, I'm gonna paint my kit now. And they're like, oh no, my finger's covering half of the head. Now what do I do? So this allows you to actually clip the piece into it. Let me try to find, I'm just gonna use this as an example so you guys can see. Now, let's say I clip the piece like this. If I'm gonna paint it, you kind of want to twirl it around so that you can get all the angles. So what I usually do if I start airbrushing, you go like this, paint it, you twirl your fingers and you paint it. And then what I would suggest is you actually flip your hand around, you hold it differently. So you actually get a different angle. So you can actually cover it as well. And then you can cover all the pieces. What you want to do is you want to do gradual light covers, light coats of airbrushing over your piece in a uniform motion. You don't want your airbrush hand to kind of move around, all around. You want this hand to actually move around and get covered in different areas. This hand should just be like a pendulum. It just swings back and forth to create a uniform mist applying onto this direction. Now, once you finish it, this is where the paint station works, so you can go and put it down. So it doesn't like you put it on the ground, put it on the floor. It's not like touching something. It's drying perfectly as it is, and that's how people get that smooth paint job. So pretty cool. We're the only store that carries these ones, the reverse clips, and these ones allows you to actually reverse clip. So instead of these ones that clip onto the piece like this, reverse clip is actually reversed, so it clips outside. So if you have any pieces that like inside of a shoulder or inside of a shield head or a barrel or something like that, you don't want to clip onto the actual piece. You want to actually hold it within the inside of it. So these ones are very, very useful when you're starting to use those kind of things. It's not just those specific situations. So I find that a lot of times now I would use these more than the regular clips, because it allows you to not damage the piece as much. The regular clips, because you're clipping on a point, a lot of the stress and a lot of the pressure is applied to that specific point. So you actually have to find specific areas inside the kit, inside the part you want to clip that won't damage it. But with these ones, because it's spring outwards, I just clip it to the wall on the inside of the part, and then it doesn't really damage the piece as much. So the paint station is pretty useful. They actually come in multiple different sizes. This is the standard size that comes with 4 paint sticks, so it's a very good starter kit for you to start. Like this one. Comes with like 4 sticks on the side. Pretty good for you to start off painting, grab more sticks as you need it. You probably need a lot more sticks. A lot of us, when we start painting, we have like a ton of sticks. Like, I don't even know how many I have. I just lose track. And then afterwards, more people get a lot more different types of paint station, because you don't want just one, because it tends to get very crowded. You end up having so many pieces. This is not even like an HG worth of piece. So imagine doing an MG or a PG. You're gonna have a lot more pieces that you want to paint, right? So you want to separate it out, and I always recommend people to always get a big one so that they can actually spread all their pieces around, and then get multiple of these small ones or these smaller ones that we have for sale, because now you can organize it. So you can have, this tray is the head, this tray is the leg, this tray is the body, so you can actually mentally know where each part is, so you're not all kind of like disorganized. Organization is key to this hobby, because it will make your life a lot easier, extremely a lot easier. So and this is the reverse clips as well. Wow, that's a lot of information. Do you guys have any questions so far? I'm gonna give you guys a few seconds to answer some questions. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them below. I'll try to cover them. Let me see if I can pull up the chat. We have Travis asking, can you guys start selling shelves so that I have somewhere to put all my backlog? Believe it or not, we're working on a solution for that. So don't worry. Hopefully later this year, we're going to have that implemented, and we'll be happy to announce it. But right now, we're extremely happy to announce that we have a new shipping method, so it'll increase the rate of shipping. And so for all you guys that are living in the GTA, like the cities that I mentioned before, you're gonna get your shipping as fast as 1 to 2 days, arriving at your doorstep. So that's pretty cool. All right, we have a question. So I think I know the answer to this, but do you guys have any Metabots kits, or do they even make those? Yes, we do have Metabots kits. Right now, I think we have Arc Beetle. We sold off Meta Bee. I think I also have the Ninja guy. We have a helper gonna try to find us some Metabot kits. Oh yeah, we found one. We have this one right now, because Meta Bee always sells out really fast. So we have Arc Beetle. And hopefully later on we're gonna grab more Metabots as well. Oh yeah, and the Roboshoe one, the ninja guy. We have another question over here. Confused about panel lining. Is it better to use a marker or brush? Oh, perfect question. Give me a sec. Let me grab you all the examples of panel lining equipments, and then after I'll show you, okay? So Siva is confused about panel lining and wondering what is better, to use a marker or a brush. Now this question comes down to answering another question, to asking another question. The main question is, one, do you paint? Are you a straight builder? Are you just a builder and then you want to add the panel lining for additional details? Or are you a painter? You paint it with, like acrylic paints or, lacquer paints, and you want to panel line after you do the painting. So that is a completely two different processes to it. If you are a straight builder and you just want to add panel line just for detail, we would highly recommend going with the markers. So these markers are GM01, GM02, and GM03. These three markers are actually for panel lining, and they work really well on the kit itself. So for you to draw on your lines and add that kind of detail is very, very easy. We also have pour type markers. Oh, I forgot to grab those. Sorry about that. Well, we have another person asking, I'm looking to buy an airbrush. What should I be looking for? I'll be answering that question later on with a giant, amazing announcement. But back to your question for panel lining. So we have GM01, GM02, GM03. These are panel lining markers. So they work specifically on the plastic itself, and for you to actually draw in the lines and erase it. You can erase it with your finger, your Q-tip when you're still wet. But if it's kind of dried up a little bit, we would recommend using the GM300, which is the eraser. Essentially, it is thinner in a pen, so it allows you to actually thin out the ink from these pens and to apply it on. Very, 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 very easy. I cannot stress how easy this is. Now, there's something called, these are fine tip markers, so it's like a fine tip marker you draw on the line. I use the same words to explain the name, so I'm sorry about that. These are pour type. So what these are actually panel lining ink instead of panel lining marker. These have these are GM301, 302, and 303. These are an ink inside a pen. So you dab on the line. You don't draw in the line, you dab it. The ink is so watery, it actually flows through the lines, and then I'll just create the line. Then you take your GM300 to kind of erase it and take it out, and it's very, very easy. So these two products are good for if you're a casual builder, if you're a straight builder, if you don't want to paint, do any of that stuff, maybe top coat, add some decals, add some stickers at the end, but no paint is required, no paint is involved in the entire process. These are for you. So it's GM01 to 03, and then GM301 to 303. The only difference between these two is just the way that it applies. This one, you draw it on. This one, you dab it, and then afterwards, the ink will flow through the lines. So more uniform, but a little bit more messy to clean up. A lot more work, but a lot more under control and easier to apply. So these are the two options that we recommend. Now there's also another one called GM20, 21, and 22. This is actually a water-based marker, so it's a little more advanced for people that want to apply it on top of different types of paints and everything. Because it's a water-based, it plays well with paint. While these ones are kind of like this weird hybrid of like lacquer level of thing that if you use the eraser on a painted model, it will eat through. That's why we recommend only these markers for people that are straight build and not for painting. Because if you paint, these markers will eat through it and you're going to ruin your paint job. So please don't use the markers. Please don't use any of the markers if you end up painting, because they don't work really well together. Yes. Bernard says, oh, these are the markers that come with the Gundam marker sets. Very watery, so that's what they're for. Yes. That's exactly what they're for. Now, the next part is, if you're like, okay, I'm going to start painting. I'm going to airbrush, I'm going to hand brush, but then I want to do the panel lines afterwards. Now, what product do I use? You can have an option. We tend to recommend everyone to go with the Mr. Weathering colors. Oh, why my camera so far today? Excuse guys, I'm gonna move you guys closer. There, is it better? Now, this is an enamel-based paint. So enamel works really well in panel lining because it's an oil base. It allows it to kind of run through and it allows it to kind of flow through very easily because you know it's oil, it's slippery, that kind of stuff. So it's pretty good in that kind of sense. And then you can apply it on top of paint. It's actually made for that kind of stuff. You want to apply it on top of paint. We also recently brought in Tamiya's panel line accent color just because you guys all been asking about it. So we decided to just bring in some to help you guys so that you guys know where to find it. But we still recommend the Mr. Weathering color just because it has a lot more color than black, gray, and brown. We have an entire spectrum all the way up to like purple and orange and pink. You'll be asking like, hey, why do I need purple, orange, and pink? Well, not all panel lines is going to be gray. You might want to spice things up a bit and make your mobile suit have orange panel lines because he has a I don't know, like a brown suit, brown armor. It looks a lot better. It looks more sci-fi. It looks a lot more futuristic. So we recommend playing around with your colors and to tell a different story. Now, we can also use different ways to actually do panel lining. There's something called like a wash and a filter, and you can actually use that. We recently started carrying Aptalone 502's oil paints, the enamel oil paints. You can actually use these for panel lining. It's more for it's more for this way to use oil paints to weather, to create shadows and fades and washes, that kind of stuff. But if you thin it out, you can still use it for panel lining just because you can brush over the entire area and create a filter. But it's a more of an advanced technique, and it's for those that are in the market for something more advanced than what we have currently for the enamel base. We have an entire range of Aptalone 502 oil paints. So pretty good. Now for the Mr. Weathering color, these guys that we recommend for your panel lining, to clean it up and to fix it, it is the Mr. Weathering solvent. So essentially, you just have to remember for every paint there is a thinner. So thinner, solvent, kind of the same thing. It's something that you use to either thin out your paint or wash out your paint or take away your paint. And in this case, because this paint is already really thinned out, you'd actually want this one will actually just erase it and thin it out as well. Greg asks, can you talk about primer a bit? Yes. Give me a sec. All right, so we're gonna talk about primers right now. I'm just gonna put these stuff away and grab some primers. So think about some questions that you want to do, you want to know, and put it into the comments below while I go grab some primers and explain to you the difference. All right. Okay, so I have this entire course, like all this material. I have this in like this made in this entire course with PowerPoints and pictures to showcase the difference in the products as well as explaining how to use any of the products. I really wanted to. I really wanted to do that on YouTube because it allowed me to actually present and as well as, you know, like showcase all the slideshow and the PowerPoint, the entire course materials that I've created. So I'm still waiting for our YouTube channel to get to 1,000 so that we can do the live stream. Hopefully, if not, then I might just like give up and just do these live streams here instead, or do videos on YouTube. Really depends how this entire thing is going to go on. So please, 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 if you have anything, do go and recommend our YouTube video to other people so that we can get it up to 1,000 so we can do these live streams on YouTube so that I can actually teach the Paint 101 course completely from front to back, from beginning to end. Nick asks, what is this new delivery system? It's amazing. It's amazing. So long story short, anyone that's living in the GTA region, that consists of Toronto, North York, Vaughan, Richmond Hill, Markham, Scarborough, Etobicoke, Brampton, Mississauga, Newmarket, Aurora, Stouffville, Pickering, Ajax, Whitby, and Oshawa will all be upgraded to our new shipping method, and you will probably get your packages delivered in 1 to 2 days. So no more Canada Post delivery, no more Canada Post delays. Hopefully you guys will get your packages in much faster and right to your doorsteps. So that's very exciting news for us because we've been working really hard to upgrade our system, and now we finally able to do it. We're working out the bugs this weekend. So any orders made today going forward in the GTA region will have this upgraded system, this upgraded shipping method. So you guys will be receiving package much faster. We have Riptos. Do armored Komodo work when paint, and do you have any? Unfortunately, we do not carry any armored Komodo. We don't really. The way that armored Komodo is used, it's a pigment. It's more of a coating pigment than a paint. So it's not. It's very delicate and it's very actually hard to handle. So that's the reason why we never really brought it in, just because it's cool when you know how to do it online. You see all these pictures, it's really cool, but it's very hard to apply in real life. So yeah. Greg asks, I'm just curious what they're used for, difference between sprays and bottles and stuff. Yeah, I'll explain that in a bit. That's good news, says Joe. Kevin Osick, I literally just bought the Wargreymon. Awesome, Kevin! You finally bought the Wargreymon after like how many years? Oh, okay. What mug? Oh yeah, you can bring your mug too. Yeah, so no problem about that. All right, so that is the new shipping method, and it's amazing. On your end, you guys don't have to worry about anything. You just have to do exactly what you've always been doing. There's no special procedure in the checkout process. It's automatically done in our back end with us. We do it from our side. So you guys don't have to change anything on your side. All you have to know is you just get your stuff faster. That's great, right? All right. Now, primers. I want to explain to you guys what primer is and what primer does, because there's so much argument online, and I want to put all the arguments like just down. I just want to put it out. Just ignore everything you hear online, because 9 out of 10 times people online are arguing about things that they don't even understand. So it's really irritating me. Primer is a must, but not a requirement. What that means is, if you want to do a good job, if you want to do an amazing paint job, if you want the best result ever, primer is a must. If you don't care and you just enjoy the process of painting and you're not super 100% needs that end result, you don't need that super flat surface, you don't need all that kind of stuff, then you don't need a primer. A lot of the paints that we carry have very good adhesion. What adhesion means is the bonding of the paint particles to the surface of your kit. And later on, I'll explain to you what that, like what steps you can take to actually increase that bond, that adhesion. Travis asks, how do people do the crazy shading stuff when painting? No clue if that's a question even makes sense, but it makes sense in my head. Yes, I'll cover the primer first, because that's actually a pretty long... I'll try to make it short, but it's a pretty... I'll cover primer first, and then afterwards I'll cover airbrush, because we had a question before about airbrush. And then afterwards we have an announcement about airbrush. And then afterwards I'll cover about shading and pre-shading. So we'll go... Wait, let me say that. Yeah, we'll go like that. So primer is something... Primer, think of primer like a glue. You spray primer onto your surface, onto the plastic, because the plastic is very smooth. It's very smooth. It's very treated. It's oily and everything. So it's really hard for the paint to stick onto your kit. Primer, what it does is it does three things. Two of the main things, and one is kind of secondary, but I forgot the third thing. First thing is what? I kind of forgot the third thing. So one of the main reasons why you want to do primer is it actually causes, when you spray the primer on top of your kit, it creates a surface that allows the paint to stick onto well. So you have a very, very strong bond to the surface. So think of it as like glue. It glues the paint to the surface. So you don't have the chipping, you don't have the scratches or anything like that. Scratches are like, another part, but it just helps it helps your paint stick onto your surface. Second, it nullifies and neutralizes the base color. What I mean by base color is this is real world. Everything works together. It's not like a computer program. It's not like, like Windows Paint or anything like that, where you click red and whatever you do with that paintbrush is red. If you paint white, like if you paint white on a black piece, that black part is going to show up through the white. So primers actually neutralizes that, and it helps you achieve a better color that you're looking for. Now, to explain two parts about the primer. Primers have a lot of the Mr. Hobby, the Mr. Surfacers, the primer surfacers, or anything. Surfacers is just Mr. Hobby's way of saying primer, okay? And the reason why they say surfacer is because they made the primer so good that it actually fills into gaps and holes, small gaps and holes in your kit, like a putty. So they call it a surfacer, not just a primer, because primer just makes the paint sticks onto the surface. But a surfacer makes it even and allows it to cover up all the holes and everything. So if you have like a very scratched up part, like if you take like 600 sandpaper and scratched up your kit and you paint it with a surfacer like 1000, it'll cover it up and it'll be like, pretty smooth. Like we're talking like, oh, okay, so we have somebody saying like 800. I use a bad example, not 600, 800.
You have to use 500 if you're going to use 600.
Okay, fine. So just assume 800 grit sandpaper or 1000 grit sandpaper gets covered up by 1000 grit, 1000 surfacer. Seth, would you guys be getting the water-based paint from Arcom? Been trying to get some, but all the shops in Canada are out of stock. Or are you guys working with Arcom in general? Oh, sorry, I've never actually heard of the paint Arcom, so I'm not really sure. If anything, you can always shoot us an email at sales@panelhobby.store, and then we can see what that paint is about and see if we'll add it to our range. But right now, because we don't actually know anything about it, we're not going to get anything in, right? Anyways, back to primer. So in Mr. Hobby, Mr. Surfacers, there's a number on the bottom. You see that number over here? 1000?
You're washing the windows.
Oh, sorry. There's like people knocking on the windows, scaring us. So there's 1000. No, we're not bringing anything from Armored Komodo. We have 1000. We have 1200. We have 1500. All you know is 1000 is your standard go-to primer. 12,000, because it's a higher number, it's more fine. So it makes a smoother surface. And 1500 is the smoothest. So what you want to do is when you use 1500 is you want to have the smoothest surface to make the smoothest shiny color. Sorry guys, we have to reconnect our Instagram guys because they're getting disconnected again. Yeah, but onto your question, Seth. If you're looking for water-based paint, try the AK third gens. We just got it. It's literally like really good acrylic paints on the market right now. So if you want to just do some research online, look it up. A lot of people have nothing but good things to say about the Armored Core. Armored Core. Oh my god, I wish it was called Armored Core. The AK third gen acrylic paints. So those are really good. So these guys behind me right here, that's an entire range that we have in stock right now. So they're probably going to be much better than our Armored Komodo right now. Now, so the numbers of the surfacer represents the smoothness of the primer. So majority of the time people start off with 1000 or 1200 and then they just go from there. They just do the primer and then they just paint layers on top and top. And if you have a Bandai kit, because the Bandai kits plastics are pretty top quality, they don't need any sanding, or a lot of people just paint straight from the box, so it's like really nice and smooth. You can actually skip and go all the way to 1500 to be very smooth, but to be safe you can just go 1200. You might be asking me, why is there so many different levels? There's even one that has 500, most likely for not for airbrushing, mostly for hand brushing. Is because later on, if you want to do a super gloss, super shiny paint job, like chrome finish, mirror chrome finish, candy color, those kind of stuff, those all require a very smooth surface. They all require a very smooth surface. So essentially priming, you're supposed to is prime it with like the lowest grit, lowest number, and then sand it down smoothly, then prime it again with a higher grit, and then sand it down, prime it a higher grit, sand it down, and then prime it finally with 1500 because that's the smoothest primer. And then once you spray it on, it will be very smooth. So that is it. Now the difference between can primers and bottle primers, it's absolutely no difference. It's just cans are more convenient and it's mixed exactly the right ratio, while bottles comes like paint. It just comes in more of a concentrated format, and you have to thin it out yourself and you have to mix it yourself. I always recommend people to go with the bottle because I airbrush and it's so much cheaper to get this bottle and thin it out myself than to get these can and do it. But however, I know a lot of the builders, I know all of my friends that actually use these cans, and the way that they use these cans, even though they airbrush it, is because they like it's already pre-thinned out and pre-mixed, so they always decant it. So what you can do is you can decant it by turning it upside down and actually spraying it into an empty jar, an empty bottle. So now you have the entire liquid concentration sprayed outwards. But be careful, don't spray it too fast or too hard, because you might, splash back. And also, you want to warm it up a bit, so put it into like warm water so it's not as cold, so it ends up spraying smoother. Don't put it in hot water. You don't want the risk of it exploding. Your room nice, a little bit warm, room temperature water is fine enough, okay? So don't take this as an excuse and put it into 100 degrees boiling water, because it's not my fault, okay, if it explodes. But yeah, most of the time, if you don't have an airbrush, most people just get the cans primer. If you do have an airbrush, I'd say just go with the bottles. It's much cheaper. How do folks go about building up a general variety of colors? Usually I buy paint on a project by project basis, which is fine for big projects, but I plan out all the colors beforehand. Random pickup, like non-makeup projects. Find I'm missing things like green and purples and let's use colors. Do you have a paint variety packs or anything like that? Recommendation, cover your paint basing and anything like that. Oh, okay. So for picking paint, I always have a spectrum of different colors I use for different type of paint. I always have lacquer, enamel, and acrylic. Lacquer is the one that I always use on the armor. So any of the armor paints, such as like, shiny, blue, like red, those armor colors, I usually buy in lacquer. Now, enamels is stuff that I use for weathering, for panel lining, those kind of stuff. So those are really small in assortment, so I'm just gonna skip over that. And then acrylics. Acrylics is for stuff that I use for hand brushing and on top of details, detail brushing, adding on more details. So those are colors that I would use, such as like fluorescent pink, green, copper, those kind of stuff. Sometimes if I want to do detailed colors for bigger pieces, like mechanical pieces, like copper or silvers, aluminum, I will buy for lacquer because I want to spray it. But anything that I want to do on like an acrylic level, I will pick colors for stuff that I will hand brush. So I will always think of like, okay, if I'm hand brushing, what colors do I need? I'll probably need fluorescent colors because I want to add very high popping contrast to my jobs, to my paint jobs, as well as I'll probably pick up like, some white and blacks just to do those shadows or anything like that. I'll pick up your primary colors because we always need like, your typical green or blue or, yellow, red, those kind of stuff as well. But realistically, I find that when you're doing a project and you're hunting for a color, that's the fun part of it. So I also do pick colors on a project basis. So that's something that I don't know. I just like to pick colors. I like paint. Yeah, this is my thing. My go-to thing is painting. Other people, our go-to thing is like Mare and Kitbashi. My go-to thing is painting. It's so relaxing. So yeah. RX recommends you can fit a straw into the nozzle of a can for decanting. Cut the straw to whatever length is easy for you. Yes, that's also helpful. Especially if you know those like WD-40 straws. You can grab one of those off of WD-40 cans, but make sure it's not used so that you don't have WD-40 residue inside the paint, because that's not really fun. Haran asks, hello everyone, hope is all is well. Does the store sell One Piece model ship by any chance? Thank you. Yes, we do. Let me show you right now. Oh man, I love you. One Piece ship, man. This is so cool. I'm super happy that you asked, because these are one of my favorite kits because they're so detailed, they're so cute, they're so adorable, and they're so amazingly accurate to the anime. We even have Red Force as well. These are actually the giant ships. We also have the Grand Ship Collection as well. Those are the tinier ships, much more cheaper, allows you to have the more variety or range of all the collection. But these are the big ships. I'm a go big or go home type of guy. We also have the small ships, Going Merry, and as well as, the flying mode of Thousand Sunny. So pretty cool. So yeah, thank you for asking that question, because I always love when people build the One Piece ship. They're so cool. Thanks. But yeah, you can always check us out on the website at www.panahobby.store, and you can always go to find the One Piece tag or One Piece collection and look at what's available right now. Nick asks, do you guys sell the Archangel or Eternal? Oh. We used to, but those are really hard to come by. I don't know which one I have right now. Trying to look for you right now, but oh, I have an amazing helper today.
This is it.
Okay, are you ready? These are the Model X kits. We have Red Tail from Cowboy Bebop. Then we have the Gundam trailer. Red Tail again. We have the white base. We have the Dota 2. Yes, if you're a Dota fan, Dota 2. You grabbed me like 3 Red Tails.
I grabbed you everything on the shelf, yo.
Oh, she grabbed everything from the shelf. And also the Magella attack tanks. Those are pretty cool. Hopefully we'll get more. But they don't really make these that often. And they're actually a different version of the Bandai kits because they actually come... they're more closer to a traditional airplane kit. Because they don't come painted or anything. So it's a little bit more advanced kit to build. Now, where was I? I'm going to take a break. You guys can watch me take a drink. I'm going to take a drink. Now, primers. So now I've explained the difference in the number of the primer. So if you're looking at the primer, you're like, what is this 1000 Surfacer 1000? What is this 1500? Now you understand that 1500 is much smoother and much easier to go by. But then afterwards, 1000 is good to cover on the scratch marks and everything. Keith asks, do they come in bigger scale? No, I think they have a white base in 1/400 or whatever, but that's more of a toy. It's not really a kit. They made this many years ago, and they only reprinted. I think they only reprinted it like once 3 years ago, and that's it. So it's been a while since they reprinted any of those. So yeah. By all means, like, yeah. I wish they made more cool spaceships. But yeah, so primer has that, has all the numbers. So if you guys still have confusion about the numbers, let me know. I'll explain more on that, but I'm pretty sure, hopefully I explained a lot about the primer. Now, you're gonna ask me is, what's the difference between all these different primers? You have your gray primer, you have your brown primer, you have your oxide red primer, you have your base white. What the hell is base white? You know, and like you have all these like black and white and gray. Which primer is right for you? That really depends on what you want to do with your paint. Now, let me explain to you. Majority of times people use gray primer because gray is a very neutral color, so it brings out the colors to more accurate to what you want, what you're expecting. Let's go with this. You see this purple? Now, think about it this way. If you put this purple on a gray primer, if you paint something surfaced with a gray primer and you paint this purple, you're going to probably get similar, close enough to this shade of purple. And that's the result. Now, if you're going to paint, if your primer is white, it will actually cause this exact same shade of purple to be a tone higher, a tone lighter. So it'll be more like this. Not that extreme, but you kind of get the idea. Now, if you're going to paint it black, you're going to get it more darker. So it's going to be like this. So the way that you use primer is you want to set the tone for your entire project. If you want to use natural colors, neutral colors, you want to use specifically the color that you want to use, then just paint it gray. That's why majority of the time people use gray to prime their entire kit. However, if you're like, okay, no, I want my kit to be more darker. I want all the colors to be darker and more like demonic or more rough looking, that kind of stuff. A lot of people will prime their kit black and then use any colors on top because it will drop the entire shade down and make everything all dull and make everything all black, like darker actually. So you have a different color. So essentially I can use one color, and with all these different primer colors, I can actually change my colors overall. So that's one thing that you should know about is the primer's color will affect whatever color you put on top. And whatever color that's underneath, whatever color is on top will affect the color on top. So even if you do, let's say, a gray primer and then a yellow and then you put a white, that yellow will still go through the white. So you have to know that too. Your layer below will always affect the layer above. So you'll be like, okay, so I get it. Gray is neutral, black is dark, white is lighter. What is brown and what is red? Now, brown and red is more made for mechanical stuff, such as tanks or anything that rusts. Red gives you a nice pop in terms of green and brown because it gives the similar. It simulates the same way that tanks are painted because they are painted with a primer of red and then they apply a coat of like green or anything. So it gets that nice armored looking green that all the tanks uses. So that gets you a nice color. And brown allows you to do a lot of like a more jungle theme look with like the greens and everything like that. So play around with your primers, play around with your colors. It gives you a different shade of your colors. So even if you have 3 colors with 3 different primers, you can actually create 9 different colors. So it's pretty good to know. Hope that explains everything about primer. Any other questions about primer? Ripto says, I have Mr. Servicer 1000. How do I need to put on my AG Gundam? Can I use spray paint cans? Do you have Mr. Servicer 1000 in a can or in the bottle? Because if you have it in a bottle, you can't use a spray can to spray it out. But if you have it in a can like this, all you have to do is just spray it on top of your kit. I would highly recommend, if you're holding a piece like this and you're holding your can, be this kind of distance away, spray from the outside like this, spray out here, and then pull back and forth. Never spray like this. I know everyone starts off, they want to save their cans, so they always go like this, really close, spray, and then turn it, spray, and then turn it, and spray. But that first burst of spray actually pushes a lot of propellant, a lot of paint onto your kit. So you actually get clumpy and everything, so it doesn't really look good. What you want to do is you want to spray, and then it kind of, after a millisecond, the spray actually levels up as a very uniform spray pressure. So you want to just mist it over your kit, so that's a nice mist and everything. Do keep in mind, because these cans are very, very sensitive to temperature, don't spray in your garage. If you do spray in your garage, watch out, because if it's too cold, or if you're spraying outside, if it's too cold, your part might become all dusty. It gets cold, so it creates all these bubbles, and it creates all these like dust marks. It looks like it dried up and there's so much dust on it. That's because it's too cold. It's no spider webs, so be careful of that. If you want to fix that, just grab a warm bottle of water, warm bucket of water, and duck the can in, or spray in more of like a warmer setting, because it's the cold that's messing up the paint. Samson asks, by the way, when will the HG bound dock start to pre-order? For all the new pre-orders, we're waiting for Bandai to give us the pre-order information. We never get it the day of their release. We didn't even know that they're releasing anything. They don't tell anyone. They think everything that they're doing is super secret and super like confidential. They're scared that any of this stuff will leak out. So they will release it first and then worry about how to get the information out to us. So we're just waiting for that. It kind of sucks, but we'll get it. We always get all the releases from Bandai. So don't worry, the pre-order is gonna go up soon once they decide to send us the information. Yeah. Jimmy asks, do you recommend mixing color to your primer to achieve the primer color? No, I do not, because primers are not colors. Primers are not paint. You don't really mix it in a sense. There's really no point. But if you're talking about mixing as in terms of like this shoulder is gray and then this arm, another piece is white, yeah, you can, but then you kind of change the overall tone of your kit. I would usually recommend painting the entire kit as one primer, because that's your base line. You want all the colors to look the same. It's kind of weird if you have one that's super vibrant and popping, and then one exact same color is actually dark and weird. So unless that's the look you're trying to go for. So yeah. Got a good indoor spray booth suggestion. I'm holding off from airbrush until it warms up because my vent box is in the garage. We do have Mr. Hobby's super booth. I love them just because they use a different motor and a different fan than the regular spray booth that you have online. A lot of the people online they use is like this China ones, that, you know, the ones that's like the red box and then the white fold out thing, and then it's like a mesh, and then there's like a fan inside and a tube that you fold out. Yeah, that one uses a PC fan. So it's not really that powerful, and it's like noisy as hell. The one that we actually have is a Mr. Hobby super booth. It's actually much smaller. You actually don't need that much space, because you spray in one direction. So end up like you're saving yourself a lot of space. So it's a smaller form factor. And then it uses a squirrel fan, so it actually has a lot more suction, and the motor is actually not connected to the not in the way of the airflow. So it's a lot safer if you end up deciding to paint lacquer. And for your time being, if you're indoors and you're painting and you don't want the odor, this is the exact reason why we brought these guys in. These AK 3rd gens are acrylic and they smell like... Yo, Brian, what does the 3rd gen smells like? Paint. Smells like paint? I thought you said it smells like cotton candy or something.
That's Vallejo.
Oh, yeah, these smell like paint, but not that bad.
At all, actually.
They don't really smell, because like Brian's been painting in his room, like he has a super booth pointing towards the window that's closed. So it's actually just circulating the smell inside his room. But you know, he's fine now, so he says it doesn't smell like anything, so it's pretty good. Do you have any question? By the way, you have it. You mean the super booth? Yeah, we have the super booth. Do we have one right now? Oh, I think we just sold it right now, like a day or two ago. But we'll probably get some more later on. And yeah, I'm. Adrian asks, "You sure he's fine?" I hope he's fine, cause like he's been blowing the fumes into his room, just circling around, and he's like, "Oh, you know, to clean it, he just put a paper towel in front of the exit point just to collect everything." And I'm like, that doesn't do anything. But yeah, so his way of doing it, you know, he doesn't smell anything. I'm pretty sure you guys are fine. Now on to the next question. Oh, he still wears a mask just to be safe. We would suggest to wear a mask just to be safe. Do you guys have the workstation? You mean the Plamo Kojo one? We're currently sold out. We are actually trying to get more from them. Same thing with like Greg's runner racks as well, but I guess it became super popular and they're completely sold out. Like all the manufacturing plants, like they're sold out of it. All the suppliers are sold out of it. So we're waiting for the manufacturer to create more, to bring more in. I think we might have some coming in soon. We're just waiting for confirmation. Just because right now with the whole virus and everything, nothing's certain, especially with all these different updates in Japan. Ban this, ban that, no shipping here, no shipping there. So we try to make sure everything is accurate information that we give to you guys. So I really don't know. I really don't know. I'm so at a loss of words of how messed up like the situation is in Japan and how quickly everything is changing. Things I might say today changes tomorrow, might change the next day. So right now, we know that we want to get more workstation. So we will try to get more. I guess that's what I can say. Greg says, I definitely want to try airbrushing, but they are pricey when I don't know if I would like it or not. That's why we have a paint room. This is exactly why. If you are exactly like Greg and you want to try airbrushing, but you don't know if you like it or not, you don't want to drop hundreds and hundreds of dollars into a hobby that you don't know if you're actually going to really enjoy or not, this is exactly why Panda Hobby created Paint Room. Paint Room allows you to come in for a very, very low fee, like freaking like from start to finish is like what, $15 plus like paint. It's really not that expensive to rent your own dedicated booth, airbrush setup, everything, and you can and then you can just test and paint it. It's not included is the paint stuff, just because we don't know what paint you want to use and we don't know how much paint you want to use, and we want to keep it as cheap as possible so that you can even bring paint yourself. And you can just you can just come in. A lot of people, that's how we got everyone in to try it. Come in, rent it, play with it, see if you like painting, and then afterwards be like, okay, this is for me, this is not for me. You might be surprised because some people are like, I really love this painting. I want an airbrush. Turns out when they came in and they tried it, they're like, oh, I hate this so much. But on the other hand, there's people that are like, I don't like this. I would never do this. And I'm like, no, you gotta try. And then turns out they love it because it's so, it zones you out. It's like for me, it relaxes me so much because once you start painting, you're just watching it. Like it's like watching yourself build something, like machine paint something. The paint job comes out so nice. You're like, I can never do this with hand brushing. This is no way in hell I can do this with hand brushing. But it looks absolutely amazing with airbrush. So I just get so addicted to it. So this is why Paint Room is there for you guys, so that you guys can try it out. If you guys don't have the space or the budget to have it at home, that's why we have the entire build room, the paint room for you guys to come in. We even have lockers for you guys to rent out so you guys can come and paint. We have a lot of builders and a lot of painters come, like, you know, after school, after work, build, paint for like, you know, like 2, 3, 4 hours, stash their stuff, you know, in their locker, go home, the next day come back and do it again. That's the beauty of Panda Hobby, and that's why we want to make it accessible for you guys. So once the world open up, yeah, that's an amazing way. Try it. Just try it. There's no harm doing it. Especially, it's such a low entry amount that, you know, like you like, I don't think anyone does it. Like, we're probably the only crazy people enough to rent you an airbrush for $5. So like, it's really more of a passion than the thing. Jimmy goes, be prepared to spend the whole day. You won't want to leave. Actually, yeah, a lot of people actually come in and spend the whole day, especially Saturday and Sunday. Saturday is like a wild day. Everyone comes out and they watch anime, and it becomes like a wild party. It's like clubbing, but not clubbing for nerds, you know. It's kind of like that. It's really, really fun. It's like a giant party. Everyone's just there screaming and talking loud and everything, so it gets pretty wild. Weekdays is more quiet because most people that come in and build, they're more focused on building. So it depends which crowd that you want. You want like the loud crowd or the quiet crowd. I would say either Monday to Thursday or Friday, Saturday, and Sunday if you want the wild crowd. But yeah, so I hope I explained everything about priming. I have to answer one of the other guys' question all the way back to airbrushing. Hopefully he's still with us. If not, then hopefully he'll catch our video. But I want to cover what is an airbrush and how to use an airbrush so you guys don't get very intimidated by it. Now, well, Greg, time for you to move. If you don't want to travel from Barrie all the time, we'll love to have you closer to us. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people, I don't know, you can probably put it onto the group and say, hey, anybody want to carpool? I'm pretty sure somebody's from Barrie. Now, airbrushing. I just want to show you guys airbrushing. The airbrush, how it works, what to look for if you're actually looking into purchasing an airbrush, and then hopefully I will give you an announcement later on, secret announcement that we're working on. This is an airbrush. How an airbrush works. Move again, Greg. Move again. How an airbrush works is there's a lot of different types of airbrush, but we're going to stick with this type called the gravity-fed airbrush. What gravity-fed airbrush means is it's a cup that's welded straight into the body of the airbrush. It uses gravity to actually pull the paint down. There's other ones that are called the siphon feed. The one that you see, there's like a little bottle on the bottom. I wouldn't really suggest buying those just because it's kind of like a pain in the butt to clean. And majority of the time, once you kind of get it more advanced and more frequent painter, you don't really want to take that much time to paint, because these ones are unibody. You can actually just and then take it off. Huh? Yeah. So that's pretty good. But so I would suggest always grabbing the gravity fed. The gravity fed for great. Now I lost my train of thought. Give me a sec. I got it. Okay, there we go. So gravity fed is more easier to clean and more easier to maintain because they're mostly like metal, and you can just like wipe it out inside, spray it through. Trust me, just get a gravity fed. Don't even bother getting a siphon feed because the siphon feed on the bottom, is just not really that practical. Now,
More PSI.
what?
Needs more PSI to actually spray.
Yeah, and it also needs more PSI. So that there is two versions of airbrushing. There's one called single action, and there's another one called dual action. Single action means this button right here, when you press down, it activates the air and it sprays. Let go, and then it stops spraying the air, and then stops spraying the paint. Because what happens is this part connects to your compressor, feeds the air up here, pulls the paint, and then it mixes and then sprays outwards. So when you press and activates the air, it just shoots out, and that's it. You see this part where it pulls back? This is called a dual action. So what happens is this pulling back part moves the needle that controls how much paint goes through your airbrush. What that translates to is how much paint you want to actually spray onto your kit. If you pull a little bit, it's a little bit of paint. You pull all the way, it's a ton of paint. So you can actually control the density and the thickness of the paint that's going onto your kit. It's highly recommended because this is how you use to get more dynamic shading and more gentle, gradual changes. In the beginning, you would want to lock it in. So if you do want to save yourself some dollars, you can actually do get the single action because there's a knob in the back that controls how far the needle goes. So you still have the control of how much paint comes through your airbrush. But dual action just allows you to, you see how this one goes all the way to the back. If you change the needle here, it stops. So you can actually control exactly where you want, how thick it is, test it on a piece of paper, and then afterwards, now you can go and apply it in. Joe says, I'm regretting getting dual action, adding one more way for things to go wrong. Joe, if you have a dual action, most likely there's a knob at the back that controls how far your dual action, your trigger stops. So you're supposed to, once you find out how much you want to apply, you change that knob to set that. So every single time that you start, you're supposed to go off your piece, turn on the air, pull on the paint, and then it's stuck at that position. It stops at that position, and then you miss back and forth. You're not supposed to like go like this to paint it. So it's not supposed to be one of those things where you're supposed to practice with your finger to know where to stop. You're supposed to use the knob at the back to stop it. It's only later on, once you want to do more gradients and everything, that you can control your finger to apply more or less. But in the beginning, when you're applying uniform coats of paint, like on your armor or on your kit as actual color replacement, you don't need that. You just control it, set it, and then just do it like that. So that's pretty good. Good to know, right, Joe? Now, airbrushing is extremely easy. Essentially, you mix the paint to make it watery, and once it's watery enough, you pour it into a cup, and then you just paint it on. That's it. That's how simple it is. So imagine you can apply that to everything. Primer, paint, top coats, all done through airbrush. Easy as that. So primer, same thing. Take the primer, take the spoon, pour it into a tray, put it in, put thinner in, mix it, pour it into the cup, spray it. Once you finish spraying, dump it out, wipe it, clean it, next color. now you want to paint, let's say, the white on the armor, right? Take the white, dump it in, put it into a cup, thin it out, mix it, pour it into the cup, spray it, change that's pretty much it. Same with top coat. It's the same exact same practice. It's just whatever color you're using, whatever different types of paint brand you're using, mixes differently. So instead of 2-to-1, it might be 2.5-to-1, 3-to-1, whatever. So that's how easy it is. And Cholok, will you be getting more airbrush kits? And that is the crazy announcement that we're gonna have. Is we're working with an airbrush company to get more airbrush tins. And once we actually get the all the info down, we're gonna announce it hopefully this weekend. We're working on it for this weekend. So hopefully by this weekend, Monday, Tuesday, we're gonna get more airbrush in, and you guys are gonna be amazed. You guys are gonna be just surprised about what we're gonna bring in, because I'm super happy about it. I can't wait to tell you guys. I really can't wait to tell you guys. But I need some content to talk to you guys on Monday. So wait for Monday or Tuesday when we do an announcement, and then you'll see what brand we're gonna bring in for more airbrushes. Yeah. So airbrushing, not really that hard, and I'm saying it from a guy that is not super artistic. Like, I'm not born with this amazing artistic skills. So if I can do it, I'm pretty sure all you guys can do it. So it's extremely easy, and I really like it. It's really fun. Warmaster asks, any pistol grip type airbrushes? Maybe. Maybe. Do we still have the PS290? Oh, I think we just have a single one right there. Oh, we only have single action? Okay. Yeah, maybe. We're still working on the first shipment of airbrushes. But honestly, this one is not that bad. And a lot of times, once you kind of get the lock in place, what I do to alleviate the stress off my hand, I actually change my position. I just go like this. I just use my thumb, and I just paint like holding a pencil, and I just paint it like this way. So it's much more comfortable on my hand. Because I know that a lot of people holding like this, they're like, oh, this hurts. I want to use like this, and I hold it. But this, holding this way, you see my way that my arm is, my wrist is bent, will give you more cramps. I end up going like this, so that you see how it's all naturally straight. So I just paint like this way. I just go back and forth, and I can do this for like 6-7 hours. That's why there's a lot of times when I paint and I lose track of the time, and I end up like, oh, I'm supposed to eat lunch, but it's 8 p.m. What happened? I was supposed to go out and buy groceries. What happened? So that was pretty cool. Awesome. My fingers cramp up. Yeah. So try my trick. So you see, like, you hold your airbrush like this, right? Try my trick like this, where you turn your hand this way and you use your thumb to grab it. But you always want to make it sure that it's leveled. So you just go like this back and forth. So you see how it's holding it like a pen? But I use my thumb to activate my trigger now. So I just hold like this and I spray. So I just sit a little bit more slanted and I spray towards the vent. It's only because I have mild arthritis and my hands are distraught from working in the automotive field. I'll try some tips though, thank you. Oh, in that case, shoot me an email at sales@pandahobby.store. I'll try to get you a trigger one. See if which options that our new brand has. I can't answer you right now. It's just because I haven't confirmed what we'll be getting yet and what we'll be ordering yet. So I'll try to make a mental note of it and make sure to include you in one of those and send you more information about it. But yeah, yeah, good to know. But yeah, so back to the airbrushing. I wish I can demonstrate how easy it is, but it's really hard. As you can see, that the camera angle is like towards me. I really need like a video. I can't really do it live to show you how to paint, just because I don't want to like poison everyone. And if it's in the room, then it's hard to set it up. But I want to actually show you guys how to paint it and show you how extremely easy it is. Like extremely easy it is. War Master, thank you. I really appreciate it. Don't worry about it, man. All right. Now on to the last bit of today's stream. Unless you guys can find more questions about stuff that I need to answer. Chrome. I know a lot of you guys, when you guys jump into painting, your first question goes, I want to make chrome. I want to paint chrome. How do you make chrome? Why is everyone online making all these amazing chrome looks and mine doesn't look like chrome? And didn't put the cap. What do you mean didn't put the cap, Keith?
Me.
Oh, I don't put the cap either. For my airbrushing, I don't put the cap either. I like to look at the pots. But it also allows me to practice being very steady. Because have you guys watched Initial D? This is my tofu car, man. Yeah. But, what was it? Chrome. There is a 100% step to Nick asks, do you guys have like bags or carrying cases for your kits? We have toolboxes. We have toolboxes and we have portable tool kits for carrying tools. Kits wise, we figured people end up putting it back into their kit boxes. If you're looking for a bag to carry the kit boxes, like multiple kits, like if you're gonna come to Panda one day and build and you're gonna bring like 5 kits, then that's another story. We do have tote bags for sale, so those carry like multiple MGs and multiple PGs actually. They're pretty cool. What? I think the big one can carry like 2 PGs, man. 2 thin ones, 2 small ones. And Sam's gonna grab a tote bag to show you guys. Are you gonna come?
Yeah, I'm coming.
Oh. Yeah. So these are the tote bags that we have. It's actually designed by us. Panda Hobby tote bags. So you can easily and comfortably fit 2 MGs in this bag. It's got a Haru on the side, and then giant Gundam design and Zaku design here. And you can fit give me a sec. You can fit it all the way in. So maybe that will help. And then the PG one is just bigger version of it. And just for demonstration purposes, you can fit PG. Cool, eh? And for toolkits, toolboxes, we actually have 10 out of 10 tote bag design. 10 out of 10 tote bag design, guys. But not like a backpack. Currently, we don't have anything like a backpack. We might look into it later on this year once the whole like virus situation dies down a little bit. But currently, we don't have any options for that. Toolkit wise, this has been very popular recently with everyone, and it's very tiny and it fits like all your toolkits in. Fits like, you know, your knives, files, snippers, multiple like that. But we don't have we don't have a bag specifically for kits, but we do have a Gundam bag. So we have multiple series of the Gundam bags, and this is actually the Dom bag. Can I steal one? That pretty cool. So maybe you can use this bag specifically for your Gundams. All right. Travis asked, I had to tap out a few minutes for work, but where did these bags come from and how have I never seen these before? Actually, just go search, was it tote bag? Just search tote bag on the
it's
website.
not tote bag.
What's it called?
Bag. Large bag.
Panda bag or something.
Master grade bag, perfect grade bag, I think.
And is there a taker for that perfect strike? Why? Did you want it? Jimmy, if that person were $200 cheaper, I'd take it hands down. Well, it's a big kit, man. Frosty Gundam says, I ordered 2 of these bags. Do you like it? I hope you like it. We spent a lot of time designing the bag, so hopefully you like it a lot. Anyways, what other questions was there? All right. Running out of things to say. Anyways, I can't wait. We have the contest. Are you guys joining the contest? Like, I'm wondering which one of you guys are actually gonna join the contest. If not, because we're getting some people joining. And I don't know who is actually joining because there's no like entry fee or there's no entry forms or anything. So I'm like super excited to see like who's joining and who's working on it. So do post up one of your work in progress in our Panda Facebook group. And if you don't know where the contest is talking about, we're actually doing the 30-minute mission contest. It's free to join. All you have to do is you grab a 30-minute mission kit and you weather it with our AK products, and then the judging criteria and also the contest details is on our website on the contest page, so you can look at that. Nick, what is the most expensive kit you guys carry? We used to have a PG Phoenix. That was like a pain in the butt to get. But perfectibility, maybe? I don't know. Well, I don't have AV paints for the contest, Joseph says. You don't have to have AV paints. You can use AK weathering stuff. Travis, I am almost done my kit. Hopefully we'll have my submission in by this weekend. Remember the contest is due May 1st. So you guys have another week or so to actually work on it. So that's good. And what else to cover? I guess that's about it. I don't know what else to talk about right now. I was gonna get into Chrome and how to paint Chrome, but I'm scared that I might give you guys too much information and you guys get too overloaded today. But yeah. How's everyone? Joseph asks, are you excited about the upcoming HG Bound Dog from Zeta? Yeah, it looks really cool. I was wondering how to I looked at it and I always wondered that design was really unique. So I always wondered how to incorporate it because it's so asymmetrical. So surprised they actually made it. It's been like rumored for what, 2 years now that they were actually gonna have that kit done. So I'm pretty surprised about that. I'm more surprised about the Fumina because that kid's amazing. I hold a very special part of it in my heart because Panda Hobby made an own version of it first before Bandai actually did. It's like Bandai copies us. You know, we have a paint room, they have a paint room, we have a build room, they have a build room. We made a Fumina that's like screaming. She makes a Fumina that's screaming. So
screaming,
yelling, happy, smile, big mouth. But yeah, so Bandai is secretly like spying on us and copying us. So that's pretty cool. Nick asks, what's your favorite Gundam series? Actually, yeah. What is everyone's favorite Gundam series? Because mine, I used to start at Gundam Wing. I used to like Gundam Wing. And then, because that's where, like, you know, when I was a kid, I grew up with Gundam Wing, and that's the only series that came into North America. But then afterwards, the first series I ever watched after that was Gundam Seed, and I just fell in love with Gundam Seed because the way that they designed it made it more modern. All the mech design in Gundam Wing I just loved. I absolutely loved Gundam Seed. I just love Gundam Seed. Then I started watching all these other series, and then I love Gundam Seed, 00, IBO. I love Unicorn. I love 08 MS Team. I really, really like 08 MS Team because I think 08 MS Team is such a accurate way of how a Gundam is piloted, because you see all these ways. It's kind of like Super Robot. If you guys didn't know, there's a difference between Super Robot and real robot. So Gundam's supposed to be real robot, and Super Robots, you know, those giant robots that's like, you know, like, you know, that kind of stuff. So a lot of the Gundam times, their own fight scenes, they always kind of have this weird mix of Super Robot / real robot in it, and to me, 08 MS Team is very real robot. Like it's like he's driving it like a tank. Like he's getting stuck in sand and he's going underwater and he can't really see much because his camera is stuck in different angles. So I really, really enjoyed that. Then after Thunderbolt came out, and that was like a modern take version of a realistic way to pilot your Gundam, because instead of you pilot your Gundam and all of a sudden, you know, like you can pull a shield up and block and hit the guy with a shield. That doesn't really make sense, because what button do you press to activate that motion to do that, right? So Thunderbolt's like, oh, shield on, you press it, and then 2 shields comes in front, and now you can't see anything. And then they're like, oh, I don't want shields away, pulls the shield away. So I kind of really like that idea. War Master, Wing is my number 1 for the same reason. Number 2 is IBO. 08 MS Team was a masterpiece still. I love 08 MS Team. I love the fact that it's like the guy has all these weapons in the back, and it's like, oh, howitzer, oh, artillery, oh, you know, like, thing. Bye, Greg. See you hopefully soon. And then War in the Pocket. Okay. Don't hate me. I don't like War in the Pocket. I actually don't like War in the Pocket. I feel War in the Pocket talks about. To me, I think what makes a good series great, is the actions, the reactions, the actions that the characters take. It's just logical. Does it make sense? Does it fit in character? Does it fit in the story? I don't think War in the Pocket, that kid, makes any sense. Like it kind of annoys me a bit, because he goes, oh, you know, you did all this bad stuff. I'm still gonna help you. But you're a bad person. I'm still gonna help you. So I didn't really enjoy it as much, because they had a really good plot. They had a really good setting that they can explore, exploring the neutrality and the casualty of war, and the fact that you're stuck in between. You're not really this side or that side. Both sides has their propaganda against each other. So who is actually the bad guy? So they had an amazing setting, but they didn't really explain. Like, they didn't really explore it that much. They didn't really pit certain. I thought it was amazing moments that they can use, such as like, okay, if this person attacks your school and that person attacks your home, now who are you going to fight for? Because both of them attack something that's dear to you. So now what? You know? So those are like things that I thought that it was like a missed opportunity that War in the Pocket had. And also some of the actions that the kid did and made just didn't make sense to me, so I didn't really enjoy it as much. Then we have Stardust Memory. Stardust Memory is amazing. I really like the fact that the Earth Federation stole some Zaku's or like repurposed some Zaku's. I really like that. Thunderbolt. I really like Thunderbolt. I really like Thunderbolt. It's really I liked all the new stuff because all the new animation made it look a lot heavier. The mechs look more beefier and more mechanical and more heavier. Just like an oomph to it. Like when like Unicorn OVA came out and they had the Kisatria launch, and you can feel that heaviness from the Kisatria, and it's the way that it's so heavy in space, but the propulsion is just so powerful. You can really feel it the way that they animated. That's why I loved Unicorn, just because of the animation. Not really about the story, because the story was like a little bit missed for me. I'm not gonna ruin it for anyone that hasn't watched Unicorn yet, but it is on Netflix, I believe, as well as Crunchyroll. I think a lot of these you can watch on YouTube on the Gundam.info. So yeah, those are pretty one of those top series. I'm actually trying to take a look around the store and see what other series I'm missing. But yeah, I used to really like when I was really young, and I love Gundam Wing, especially Hero Yui. I think he was so cool. But then as I grew older, I'm like, this Hero Yui has like some kind of like suicide like habit. He always wants to try to kill himself. Why? You have such an amazing life, and then 2 seconds later he's trying to blow himself up. So I don't get it. And then so I always find it very funny about it. War Master asks, you do have to tune out Alfred. Kishacha MG one day. Laugh. LMFAO. Yeah, I wish they made a Master Grade Kisatria. I would drop money like so fast. I would throw money at my computer screen like a meme. Like just take it. Just take it. Take my blood too. You know. Travis, would you ever get Code Geass kits in? What? I thought we had Code Geass kits. We sold out. We had Code Geass kits. We had the Alexandra 1, 2, and 3. It's like the same kit, but small little variations. And then we have, I think, 2 versions of the Lancelot and 2 versions of the Gurren. Maybe when they reproduce it, we'll bring it back in. But they don't have any of the other Nightmare frames. So like the regular Nightmare frames and the like Lelouch's own Nightmare frame, the purple one, they never made a kit into it. They ended up going past model kits and they went straight into Figma. I think Figmas or figures and statues and stuff like that. So I was really upset. I really wanted Lelouch's Nightmare frame because it's so cool. And then hopefully like he has like the computer board and doing all that stuff too. I really like that series. Yeah. If you guys haven't watched Code Geass, please do go watch Code Geass. It is one of the most amazing shows I've ever watched. Just right under Brotherhood Alchemist? No, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. What the hell am I talking about? Wow. But yeah, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Yeah. That is an amazing show. I think I rewatched that like a few times already. It's an amazing show. But watch Brotherhood. Don't watch the original one. The original one is good, but Brotherhood is like way better. So if you want to watch both of them, they don't really follow the same storyline. So the original one, like the Full Metal Alchemist, it's kind of like the story is like this, and then Full Metal Brotherhood is like, you know, like
because the first one they didn't finish the manga, so half the later half they originated.
Okay, so here's the reason why they said it. The first anime Full Metal Alchemist, they didn't finish the manga, so they actually just made up as they went along. And then afterwards that they're like, hey, we're gonna redo it. So then they made Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and that one was more true to the manga. I don't understand. Travis goes, I don't understand how people can ask for series to continue. It ended so perfectly. Oh, sorry guys for all Instagram. We're gonna restart the Instagram, so you guys gonna get cut off. Hey Robert, TGIF. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. We keep getting Instagram cutting off, and yeah, nothing we can do. Well, we can do something if you guys get more people to subscribe to our YouTube channel, so I can actually do it on YouTube and not have this problem, and also have all the other desktop streaming things going on. What? I want Kogi's to continue. Kogi's didn't end too perfectly. I wanted I wanted more fan service where they talk about, you know, like what happens afterwards, that kind of stuff. So that. What other anime is good? Death Note was really, really, really good. One of my top favorites. So if you guys haven't watched Death Note, please go watch Death Note. Very, very smart. Extremely smart. Well created anime. The gist of it is very, very, very broadly, a very smart dude gets power, but he uses the power to invade the normal society and change the world. That's Death Note. Huh. Nick goes, oh, true. What's about Gun Gale? Gun Gale's from Sword Art, man. Sword Art was awesome. Don't hate on Sword Art. It's my favorite. War Master, Power Corrupts all. Well, I don't know if you're talking about Kogi's or if you're talking about Death Note, but both characters didn't use power to corrupt them. They actually used power to fight back corruption. So that. Robert, not sure if it's sacrilegious to ask about Macross here, but is there a fully transformed Macross kit out there? What? There's tons of Macross. We have a lot of Macross kits. Are you talking about the original Macross, or are you talking about like the newer Macross? We are getting Hush, but we are getting the original Macross back in, and then we do have the newer Macross, Macross Frontier, and the Delta. I personally love the design because I like more modern fighter jet design than the older designs. Because the new, the Bandai one is fully transformable. So the Macross Frontier and Macross Delta, they both all come in plane mode, Jurwalk mode, and robot mode, like mech mode. Like you could fully transform it. It's not parts former. It's actually like the hinges and thing is true to the anime and transform. Robert goes, most kits are non-transformable. No, man. I built one. I built one of the Bandai's Macross Frontier kit. It's fully transformable. It's exactly like the anime. So when the anime, like the cockpit folds in, and then the hinges fold out, the legs fold out, and the wings fold out, and everything, right? It follows the exact same like the anime. Even the point of the cockpit, the nose, it folds inwards to create the body and the chest. So it's really, really good. It's a lot better than before. Just remember, because it's a transformer kit, it's really not as structurally stronger than a normal kit. But in terms of when I handled it, and I really went to town on it and did it. It was fine. So it's not as weak as people claim transformable kits are. But I might be biased because Macross Frontier, Macross Delta was one of my favorite. Macross Frontier was one of my favorite series, just because of how heavy weapon it is. I wonder if I have one right now. Oh, I see it. Give me a sec. I'll show you. This is a Macross Frontier Full Armor Messiah. And in the show, if you guys haven't watched it, it actually has a basic jet form. And then while it starts battling more and more and they need more weapons, they actually created an armor pack. And then this is this full armor pack when it's like one dude versus like 300,000 enemies. And Macross is one of the series known for is it's a missile barrage galore. Like it's like when they shoot at you, it's not like Gundam where it's just beam, miss, beam, miss, beam, miss. It's like thousands of missiles come at you, and then it's just like super dodging. It's like Dragon Ball Z in jet form, in mecha form. So it's really, really cool. I remember YTV late night stuff that had Inuyasha and Gundam Seed. Yeah, I remember Inuyasha too. I never got really into Inuyasha, and then later on I found out that every girl I knew was into Inuyasha. Don't understand it. War Master goes, Light was corrupted by his ideals. I guess. But he was always very confident in his ideals and his ethics. So I don't know if corruption was really a good example of how Light was going through. Which Code Geass you recommend to start? Jimmy, there's only one Code Geass, season 1. That's the only Code Geass. Yeah, Code Geass Alexander is like a spin-off. It doesn't even make sense. It has nothing to do with the main story. So the main story is like 2 seasons plus a movie. Jason, can we see what the runners look like? This one? Oh, this one. Oh yeah, let me show you this kid. Sorry. Got too excited talking to you guys. See, this is why we miss you guys. You guys should come back to the store. We hope that this entire thing, like, goes away soon so that we can see you guys. Travis, I never watched GGO despite my love for SAO. What? You never watched Gun Gale Online? Get out of here. Nick, Light was power hungry. Man, if you're that smart, you gotta definitely, you'll be power tripping too. So this is the Armored Kit Messiah, and he fully transforms. Not parts forms. Parts forms is when you kind of take it apart and re-put it together as, you know, a different form. This is fully transformed, so like you click and move in and stuff like that. So it's really cool. And this is the pictures of it. Really, really cool. One of my favorite series, just because the design is absolutely astonishing. Riptos, how do you feel now that we're getting a real-life Gundam that actually moves, and what are your thoughts about the cycle frame that used in Gundam Unicorn and Narrative? Wow, that moving Gundam, you know what? I was happy with Unicorn statue, just his face moving and, you know, like just the light changing. I was already happy with that. So you're telling me this giant Gundam is going to be like, even though I saw some of the Twitters and some of the Bandai updates, it's on a frame. It doesn't really actually move. It's just simulated to move. It's still cooler than the Unicorn. So I still think it's cool. I still go and see it. I still go and see it. It's a spectacular thing to see, and I don't know. I'm a Gundam fan enthusiast, so I love it. Just the fact that it's a giant Gundam, and you're like taking pictures like, oh, this is my suit. Where's that wire cable that I'm gonna pull myself up to the cockpit? Like, just that. I don't know. To tell you a story, the first time I went to the Gundam statue, right? I think me and my wife spent 6 hours.
Are you kidding me?
Apparently, I'm kidding. 6 hours?
We're there for like 8 hours, okay? It was bright out when we got there, and it was like pitch black when we left.
Yeah, so apparently we spent 8 hours there, and I essentially just ran back and forth between the statue and Gundam Base, just shopping, and then ran out, seeing the light show, run back in, run back outside, take pictures, and I was like a kid in a candy store. I was running back and forth, and I took pictures of the Gundam in every single hour to get different lights of the statue. So we have like different pictures of the Gundam during the day and the afternoon. You know, if there's clouds, no clouds. If it's in the dark, lights on, lights off. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, back to this kid. Oh, sorry. War Master, when he wiped his memory, he's totally against Kira. showing how corrupt he got because of Death Note. Interesting. Plus, that kit looks, that kit's bomb looking. Oh yeah, thanks, man. And also, back to you, Riptos, about your Psycho Frame. To be honest, when they introduced Psycho Frame and they explained that Psycho Frame is more of like this telekinesis thing that connects to the person, allows the movement of the suit to be more fluid and to read your inner desire. That made sense. To be honest, that made sense. Because if you have a suit, like a normal traditional Gundam suit with 2 joysticks, maximum like a power thruster, because you've seen like it's just this or this or this, and like 3 pedals because the middle one is a booster. Like you need 1 for a booster. And you're telling me that you can control your suit, you can control it so well that you can like deflect with this shield and shoot through your crack and throw your shield and grab the person's head and smash it into the ground. That doesn't make sense to me. Because I'm like, okay, if I push this forward, I go left. You know, I push this forward, I go right. How do I control it to smash this person's head with my shield? There must be a button, right? So if you're telling me like this Psycho Frame is like, oh, this will read your inner thoughts. Now I'm like, okay, that makes sense because all I am is controlling the main body, where the main body's going, and my brain is telling my suit to go, you know, like shoot here, you know, bend your head backwards to dodge the incoming laser or kick this guy in the face. Like that makes sense because I can't really do that with the controller. So I think it makes more sense. Jimmy, I almost cried when the first time standing in front of it. It's amazing feeling. I know, right? It was so cool. Just want to go back. All right, so Jason asked to see the runners for this kit. Oh, this is such a nice kit. The missile pods, all the parts. I'm just gonna go through it fast because it's actually a really big box. There's a lot of runner. Anyways, I'm just gonna try to go through this fast too. And then, oh, this is a nice part actually. You see this part? Nicely generator body part thing. But yeah, I don't know. I get really passionate about Macross because I think Macross Frontier was amazing. I'm a little bit disappointed with Delta because it wasn't as story driven and they didn't have much songs to it. Macross Frontier had like freaking like 3 albums. I loved it. I listened to it all the time. And Macross Delta had 1 song that they replayed over and over again. I'm like, come on, I'm trying to give you money and you guys don't even want to make money. What's wrong with you people? So I was really upset. But then the design of the Macross Frontier kit and the new Macross Delta kit looks pretty cool. So this is actually the Delta. And they actually took it, reversed the wings, and made it pretty better looking. The only downside about it is in the Macross Frontier, it was really unique because all the different characters' suits and their plane and their Messiah, actually, they all have a unique aspect. So let's say this guy is your balance guy, and then they have the Great Commander, which is also a balanced one. They also have a sniper, a recon guy. So they have different types of like, you know, suits. The recon is really cool because the recon has a radar dome on top and it controls like 3 other drones that flies around too. So to me, it was really, really unique. And then it was more like a human against bugs, aliens kind of story. So you don't really need to feel too much like pity or sympathy against your enemy because they're just like aliens, you know, mass massacre and that kind of stuff. But then this story got really good, and then afterwards it kind of like just dipped out a little bit. But I still really like the design of the plane, just because I'm more of a Macross fan. I really like the fact that you have a plane that turns into like a robot, especially it looks very streamlined and very sick. So those two are about Bandai. The reason why I mentioned it by Bandai is because I do really like Bandai's kit. They're more easy to build and more higher in quality. And if you're a straight builder, you're gonna have a lot of fun with it. War Master, I think I'm not going to try to pronounce that. Works better than the Psycho Frame on that concept. Psycho Frame relies on telepathy. Alaya is directly input through the spine. Yes, which when IBO introduced that idea, I'm like, that makes sense. It's kind of like Thunderbolt when they're like, hey, we're going to chop off your limbs and arms and put you into a pilot. You're going to be able to control the suit completely. I'll be like, see, that makes sense. Because, you know, if I go like this in my fingers, then the suit goes like this in their fingers, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But, you know, like, yeah. But you can't, you can't argue with it, because UC still has to go through that whole new type kind of timeline, because they created new type, so they just trying to create all the stories around new type. So they can't just randomly just drop new type completely out from their story and be like, okay, we're going to make a completely different type of input system and just ignore new type and their super amazing ability to pilot a mobile suit or anything. Like, even then, I accepted when they were like, okay, we have the whole funnels and new types can control the funnels. And even then, I'm like, oh, that's really hard to think where that funnel is going to go and shoot and then come back and recharge. That's, to me, is pretty hard too. I don't know. But yeah, if you guys have any more comments, if you guys watch any more Gundam series, be sure to comment below. I think we're having an amazing discussion right now. War Master After War X new type it. Ha ha ha. Oh, Jimmy's gone. Bye, Jimmy. But yeah. What other mecha series are out there that I really like? There's Armor Core. I really like the games. And then Armor Core was really fun and back in the days, and then they made it more mainstream and more fast paced, and it kind of lost its appeal of this mecha design kind of aspect of it. So missed that. Robotech. To be honest, I haven't watched Robotech / Macross, the original series, just because it's so dated. I can't really get myself into such a old style of cartoons, not cartoons, like animes. So I really never ended up getting into it. And also, I can't find original Macross, and there's only Robotech on, was it Prime Videos? But yeah, but if you can watch Robotech and you love Robotech, go watch Macross Frontier. You'll love it. I like Line Barrels. War Master goes, I like Line Barrels of Iron Mecha's shows was so Palabor is cool. I like Palabor. I really like the design of Palabor. There's a funny story actually. I'll share with you. So me and my wife, when we went back to Japan, there was actually a commercial, an advertising where they had the model, the real life size model of Patlabor in a truck, like the new next generation series Patlabor. They're just driving it around Akihabara, Tokyo, just kind of like to promote the movie that they're going on. And holy crap, I've never threw my stuff at my wife so hard, so fast, and ran so fast down multiple like streets to chase down this truck. Like, I saw it, I looked at my wife, and I'm like, bye. Sorry, bye. And then I just threw my bags of stuff of shopping at her, and she's like, what's going on? And I'm like, stay here. And I just bolted down the road, and she didn't even see me, like, because I was so far. I bolted so far that I was like having an asthma attack and everything. And I finally, when I caught up to the truck driver is this Japanese. Of course he's Japanese, we're in Japan, right? So this Japanese dude's looking at me going, ah, and then I'm like, you know, and then he's like, and he starts driving away, and I'm like, what are you doing? And I ran up to him, and I finally whip up my phone, catching my breath, and I start taking pictures, and he's like, oh, okay, you want some pictures? And then so he stopped the car. You turn on the little lights that causes the siren lights to go off, and I'm like spazzing out. I'm like, ah! I'm like taking like 500 pictures in a second kind of thing, and then afterwards I'm like, okay, I'm good. I got it. I got my picture and everything. So then I put it away and I start walking back, and I just see my wife standing in the middle of the road going, what happened? And I'm like, let's not talk about it. Yeah.
You have to find those pictures.
I know, I should have to find those pictures. Gunpla Parrot suggests, Gurren Lagann, are you guys planning on carrying those new model kits? We're looking into the Gurren Lagann kits. I forgot what makers they are from, so that's why I kind of a little bit harder to get it. But we still have time, so we'll probably get it later. Travis says they're making Beast Wars? What? No, they're not remaking Beast Wars. Seriously, I think they're doing movies. I'd have to go back and find the article again. You probably read the article on the wrong site, okay? And then we have... Yeah. Yeah, I like Palabor. What other series? There's a lot. I want more mecha series. Don't you guys want more mecha series? I wish that there were more mecha series. Not like super robot, like mecha. Like Mazinger. I haven't watched Mazinger, but I'm going to build that giant /60 Mazinger. The 1/60 scale Mazinger, because it's like huge. It looks really, really cool. I was gonna build the 1/44 scales, but this came in and I really wanted that one, so I'm gonna build that one first. But of course, I'm gonna finish the RG Eva first. Let's not talk about that. I want more mecha series. Mecha series is like my bread and butter, right? Like I really like it. I really enjoy mecha series and mecha and army and that kind of stuff. So I kind of hope that they have more of those kind of shows. Oh, I forgot. There's a few other shows that's pretty good too. Full Metal Panic. Oh, so good. Cody, Gamer ran it's from quite a few sources though. That's not an original article I read, I don't think. They can go ahead and remake Beast Machines. Keep Beast Wars alone. What? Any news on a new Evangelion movie? Oh. No, we don't get those kind of news. We wish. Like, nothing. Japan is weird. They don't really like to release any information, especially even in the people in the industry. So they kind of... like they're really hush about it, so we don't really get any information from it, especially if it's not a product related. Even worse, like the animators don't even update us or anything. We can't ask any of those questions. So your information is as good as mine. While War Master answered that Evangelion is pushed back, so probably push back again. But I thought I saw something that they're remaking the original few movies again or something on Netflix or YouTube or something. 3.0 plus 1.0 is set to push back past June. Ooh, that sucks. If you turn one Gundam series into a movie, which would it be? That's a good one. I don't know. Oh, actually, yeah, I do know. I'll turn Gundam Seed into a movie because Gundam Seed story is basically them on the run, and the main character is trying to choose what he wants to do, and then like a movie about how they're on a run and how desperate they're gonna get and how much problem they're gonna get, and then basically delivering, getting to a safe area, and that as the entire movie. I wouldn't mind watching that. So maybe something similar to like Gundam Seed in that kind of idea, or like Zeta. Then yeah, I wouldn't mind turning that into a movie. Not the whole like 2 seasons into one movie. Then it doesn't really make sense. But let's say you're in the middle of the war and you're exactly like Kira Yamato's situation. And you got caught in the middle of an attack and you're just trying to survive, and the end of the movie is you basically survive and you get to where you're going. Jonathan asks, can you guys do special orders for a Gunpla runner, like if you need spare parts or because you broke them? Oh no, we can't. Everyone asks us for about replacement parts, we can't. And at the same time, I honestly tell everyone is, once you find somebody to do it in Japan, or if you find someone to do it, because they only offer it in Japan, it comes up to be very expensive, because after it's like freaking like $15 for like a runner, and after shipping and whatever, and you end up like, if you're missing one runner from like a kit, I might as well just buy another kit, because at least I have all the other parts. Because if I'm paying like $20-30 for a kit that retails for $50 or $60, at least if I pay for the whole kit, I have the whole kit and I can use all the spare parts for kit bashing or whatever. But on the other hand, I'll probably get lazy and I'll just do it. I'll just make the kit as though, if I break the part, I'll just weather it and I'll just say it's battle damage, right? So I'll just make the kit work. That's one of the things I tell some of my builder friends is, it's a challenge that I tell them to do is, you buy a kit, you get a kit, step on it. Just fully step on it with the box intact. Just boom, step on it. See what breaks. And then after, make it work. And that was one of the ideas that it makes you get better at building, because you can work with what you have. So that. War Master, yes, they did it as an apology for the delay. Thanks for clarifying about the EVA new movies. That's awesome. Now I have to wait for the subs for those. What are you talking about? Just learn Japanese. You can do it in this lockdown. You got no distraction, whatever. Just turn on YouTube how to learn and speak Japanese in 14 days or 20 days, and by the end of it, everyone will be like fluent in Japanese. Konnichiwa. Nick goes, when Panda Hobby opens up, will you guys do a meet and greet for our new members? Oh man, we do monthly build parties where people come in and build. We do like contests, we do events. There's actually a regular group that comes in almost like every weekend and like weekdays and everything. Most likely, if you just pop in, you'll meet the guys. They're all a bunch of really friendly people. If they're not, just throw Timbits at them or buy them coffee. Maybe they're just having a cranky day, but we're all like really, really, really friendly guys. But I'm thinking about doing something when it opens up, just to kind of get everyone back on board and kind of, celebrate the freedom. Because I'm like super bored. Miss you guys. Yeah. At this point, when you show up and say, hi, I'm Nick, everyone will be like, hey, it's you finally. I think so. I actually truly think so. I'm pretty sure if you guys just show up and be like, hey, I'm this guy, or I'm that guy, or like, oh, my online name is this, everyone will be like, oh, I remember you. But the only difference is right now is we have people disconnected from Facebook and Instagram, because the Instagram people don't really read the comments on the Facebook, and the Facebook can't really read the comments on the Instagram. So that one sucks. So hopefully we can get our YouTube channel up to 1,000 so I can do the YouTube, do the stream on YouTube so that everyone can be on the same platform and read each other's comments. Tequila goes, can't learn Japanese, backlog. You can't use backlog as always an excuse. Backlog cannot be an excuse. Backlog should be your passion, should be that glimmer of hope at the end of the light. that you can finally one day finish. I actually know some people that finished their backlog. They actually emailed me and they're like, bro, yeah, during this shutdown, I build everything. What do I do now? And I'm like, I don't know. Go to a park. And they're like, park's closed. I'm like, then buy more. But yeah. Nick, I walked into the store for the first time with my fiance and she had to hold my wallet because I was gonna go spend crazy. Don't worry, that happens all the time. Don't worry about it. There's actually a lot of times where we physically have to wait. Like we see people come in and their eyes is just, and then we're like just quietly there going, take it all in, give it a minute, and they're like, oh, and then we're like, hi, welcome to Panda Hobby, and they're like, oh shit, I didn't even see you there. And I'm like, yeah, most people come in, they have a mini heart attack. So that's why, we're trained in CPR and we're ready to like, give you a CPR and that kind of stuff. And they're like, okay, cause yeah, okay. And they don't even answer us. They just kind of like walk off and they finish like, like going around and geeking out. And then they come back and they're like, were you talking to me? I swear to God, were you talking to me? And I'm like, yeah, we were saying hi. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I was just so into it. And I'm like, don't worry, it's like that. Whenever we see first time people come into a shop, it's like that. They always like they get super happy and it makes our day. That's exactly why we do this, what we're doing, is because of that. Like we want to give that experience. So yeah, and ask anyone that's been to Panda Hobby, like customer service, customer experience is actually our #1 priority. Not because it's like the right thing to do, because it is the right thing to do. And it's not because it's like something that most companies say. No, it's because we truly believe in it and we really try our hardest. So like we know almost all our customers by their first name, and if we don't know you by your first name, we generally know who you are, like what you bought, what kind of style you like. So that's why whenever it comes to like Christmas, birthdays, Valentine's, even a lot of people actually come and they're like, hey, I'm looking for a gift for my boyfriend, fiance, husband, dad, brother. And I'm like, cool, what's his name? And they're like, oh, his name is blah. I'm like, oh, yeah. He has that. He doesn't have that. I think he's collecting that. He's probably going to enjoy this. Depends what you want. You want to surprise him or you want to complete his collection? And they're like, oh, perfect. So we're amazing in gifting as well. That's why whenever you guys buy anything, we know what you guys buy.
Update your wish list.
And update your wish list.
We can pull it up.
Update your wish list, because if we can't, we can always pull up your wish list and we can always give the wish list to your to whoever that's trying to buy you a surprise gift or anything. So you always be surprised and you'll always be happy with what they chose. We're amazing. We're amazing at that, to be honest. All right. Because Greg was going to come for the meet right before COVID. Oh yeah, that sucks. Cody goes, Nick, I have the same problem, except there's no one to hold my wallet. I just wonder where all my money goes at the end of the day. If you want, like, I think we're the only store that actually prevents people from buying. Like, yeah, but yeah, did that when I saw the display. Yeah, it's amazing feeling, because even some of the when the kids come into the store and they freak out, that's like the best feeling, because they're like, oh my god, this is amazing, and they're like freaking out. And then I tend to tell the kids, like, like, how's it going, how's this, how do you like this? And they're freaking out and they don't even want to talk to me. And I'm like, okay, fine. Robert, I thought you were going to say come Valentine's Day you will have a gift for us because you know us so well. I'll give you guys flowers. I'll give you guys flowers. I'll give you guys chocolate. I'll give you guys chocolate. Hey, I do bring back a lot of gifts for you guys when I get the chance. So there's always something waiting at Panda to make each and every single time you guys come like more enjoyable. Like we try to make it. Like there's sometimes we bring in snacks from Japan. Sometimes we have like cookies. Like last summer we had popsicles. Just because it was a really hot summer. Or was it the summer before? I don't remember. But yeah, that was pretty fun. Oh, but here's my question for you guys. sadly, I gotta go. Thanks for the fun time. Bye, Tequila. Nice to see you again. Last question, last discussion. Before we're gonna go. What is 10 things, or what is things that you want to change about Gundam? Like, like stuff that you wish they changed, stuff that you wish they made better, stuff that you wish that they addressed in the series or in the fiction. Like, what is things that you want changed in the Gundam franchise, anime wise, not Gundam Kid wise, because we all know we all need that master grade Kisatria. Nick, about your new shipping method, is there shipping fee or even reduced shipping fee? No, it's going to be the same shipping fee. It's actually more for us, but it's faster for you guys. So again, our current shipping fee is $15 flat rate. And then afterwards, it's going to be $10 if you buy $150 or more. And it's going to be free if you buy $300 or more. Just because it's Canada shipping sucks.
They just announced they're delayed.
And delayed. Canada shipping's delayed too.
They just announced because they're having Christmas level volumes.
Oh, so Canada Post just announced that they're delayed because they're having Christmas level volumes, like Christmas, Boxing Day period level volume. So that's why all the packages in the entire country is like being delayed, because they just have too much packages. So on the right side, you're getting your package much faster. Later on, we are always working on something. We are always working on making your experience better and making Panda Hobby better. So I can't say anything too much about what we have in store, but we have a few new announcements that hopefully we get done, we get finished, and we can announce to you very soon, very shortly. So just stay tuned for that, because we're super excited. We're we fixed the out of stock. We pushed all this. We fixed the site to show out of stock. We fixed the filter. We made the whole, new thing. We literally revamped our entire back end system completely. Just changed completely. It's you don't understand how much work we do to ensure that everything you guys see is smooth and have the best experience. To answer your question, I want a continuation of Seed Saga, what happened to Kira after Seed Destiny, or even the events before Heliopolis blew up. Oh, that's actually a pretty good idea. Braden, hey, I'm here for the couch auction. Do you ship through Canada Post? What's a couch auction? Coach auction? We do ship through Canada Post, but if you missed it, if you missed it, we actually have oh shoot, I forgot what I was going to say. We have a new upgraded shipping method. So anybody within the GTA, such as, I have a list: Toronto, North York, Vaughan, Richmond Hill, Markham, Scarborough, Etobicoke, Brampton, Mississauga, Newmarket, Aurora, Pickering, Ajax, Whitby, Oshawa, and Stouffville will get faster shipping. So you're gonna get your shipping almost 1 to 2 days at your door. So that's pretty exciting for us. Oh, I missed a lot over here. Less stickers. Yes, I don't really like stickers as well. War Master, haha, I think less stickers is universal wish list. How do we become members? There's no members for Panda Hobby. Like, if you want to create an account on the website to do your purchasing, you just register your account. It helps you to track your packages, which orders is fulfilled or not, track your wish list. We have a lot of stuff coming up later on for people with accounts online as well. So it's always a good thing to actually register on our site. War Master, anime-wise, I think they should expand more. I think the 50 episode limit is holding back, and Epic UC kind of feels like they should have aimed for a longer series for the original 3. Hey, you're complaining about 50 episode? Are you serious? All the new episodes are getting like what was that? Pixie Gundam's getting like what, 30-second episodes? Like, you're complaining about 50 episodes? I'd be happy for another 50 episode Gundam series. Now all the new Gundam series are like 12, 24, not even. Did I miss the couch auction? What is this couch auction? Man, place shoe on head to begin couch auction. Oh, okay. Bye, Robert. I don't know what you guys are talking about couches. I'm just gonna assume you guys are trying to troll me. Like 100 episodes. I don't think they're gonna be able to do 100 episodes on one series, because like everything that they're doing right now is like all new. So it's like a hit or miss for them, and it seems like they're really scared of going back to their roots of real robots and more political and more like that kind of stuff. Like after IBO, all the other stuff is more geared towards kids. So we're hoping that the new Gundam series will have more geared towards like more mature audiences or a better storyline. It's not like saying that the new Gundam series is not good. I just enjoyed Build Fighter more than Build Divers, and I enjoyed IBO way more than Build Fighters. Yeah, Double was like a lot of politics, so much that it became like Gundam Wing politics, like 50 hours of talking, like Star Wars Senate discussion. Like, is this country gonna agree? I'm like, what? And then like I thought Gundam Seed was political until like I watched like Double O, and I remember like Gundam's Wing was so political. Nick, Naruto Shippuden was the only anime I think that went past 52 episodes. What? What are you talking about? Naruto, One Piece, Bleach. One Piece is like what, 1,000 episodes and still going? They're crazy, man. Alex, good morning.
You're getting trolled.
Yeah. Weird. Why are you guys trolling?
No, I think you can. There's a way like random people can see your feed.
Weird. Anyways, would love if they attempted to unify all the Gundam universes again, like in Turn A. To be honest, I never watched Turn A. I should watch Turn A. We should watch Turn A. Yeah. They made games, so they have the games where all the different series come together. But then afterwards, you quickly find that the weapons and the mechs only work in their own universe. Once you actually put somebody else that's more powerful, like it becomes imbalanced. Like IBO makes a lot of sense. Like Barbados makes a lot of sense in their universe, you know. But you put like Barbados and like Gundam Seed, doesn't really make sense. Either Barbados is super overpowered or super underpowered. So I feel like unless it's all from the same timeline like UC, a lot of the other things doesn't really make sense to kind of put in together. Do you guys do wholesale? Oh, email us, sales@panelhobby.store. Yeah. Wasn't One Piece started back in 1993 or something? I don't remember. I'm trying to watch One Piece, but there's a lot more other stuff that I want to watch. I just really like the One Piece ships. I think they look so cool, but I end up not watching too much One Piece because I got caught up in like Star Wars and like Clone Wars and Mandalorian, and now the whole like Clone Wars last season. So yeah. I think Barbados is gonna win if it's Barbados versus Strike, because Barbados has that anti-beam coating, so that's like fully just imbomb, just impenetrable. BOP and C because of all the there's the anti-beam coatings. Gunpla Parry, what Turn A did was it basically try to accelerate the timeline. Huh, I should really watch Turn A then. A lot of people told me Turn A was really, really good, but I just can't get past the whole mustache Ethan. I don't know. I just can't get past it. Just got off work now. Any chance you already talked about chrome and titanium painting? Yes. Ha. Sorry. Maybe. Did I talk about titanium? I talked about a lot of painting. Gunpla Noob. I talked about painting, the thinners, I talked about primers. I talked really long about primers. I think I covered top coat. I think I covered how to thin out each of the paint, why difference between spray cans and bottles as well. So it should be in like the 1 hour mark if you want to look back. It's where I have like all the cans in front of me, so you can actually skip back to go look at it. And then, what's your opinion on Gundam pen airbrush compared to traditional airbrush? Oh, thanks for asking that question. Gundam marker airbrush pen is Gundam marker airbrush pen is very good for someone that is doing very light painting and not really like light customizing, or they just want to paint their kit. They don't want to get into the whole airbrushing, or they're trying to just dip their toes into airbrushing, because it simplifies airbrushing completely. It makes everything super easy to work with, and allows everything to, like, you don't need to mix paint because it's just airbrush and spray. You don't need to clean up. It's not toxic. You don't have to smell. It's not smelling anything or whatever. And
Can I come in?
oh, okay. We have a Gundam marker airbrush expert over here.
Oh my god, I'm so short.
Wow.
Okay, so I actually really like the Gundam marker airbrush because I can do really quick and simple detailing. So I did my Hello Kitty here. I did a video, it's also on YouTube, where you can watch about how I do the Gundam marker airbrush. It is super easy to do like these small details here. So what you can do is mask off and just do really, like really simple details. So if you see there, the yellow that I did, and it's like all you need to do is mask and just spray it on. And it took me like half an hour to put details on all of these, which I like it for SDs, because with an SD I don't really want to paint the whole kit. I just want some of those details to be colored and not a sticker. So this way I can do that, but I'm not spending so much time like priming and painting and doing the full like airbrush thing. So yeah, I mean half an hour to get these little details, just so I can just have her to display. And so I say it's useful if you're gonna do something that's quick, and you're not looking to do a lot of detailing. If you want to do like way more stuff, don't go with the marker airbrush, because you're not going to be able to get the results you want. And honestly, the amount of paint that comes in the pen is not worth you doing an entire kit. It's worth it if you want to do field details. So the markers actually go on really nicely, where they give you a really full coverage within 1 to 2 coats. Most of them 1 coat. They have really nice metallics as well. So I would suggest, if you're someone who wants to do small details here and there, no fumes, no, like, you don't have any place for an airbrush, you don't want somewhere, you don't want to have fumes in your area, go do that. But if you're looking to actually get into airbrushing and you want to customize a full kit, the Gundam marker airbrush is not for you, because you're going to end up buying a lot of pens and spending a lot of money on that stuff. So you might as well have spent that money on an actual airbrush and getting into actually airbrushing.
Wow, that was a good answer from a professional.
Wow.
All right, to catch back up on some of the people's questions. Oh wow, we started a huge conversation, discussion between Barbados and Strike. I actually want to see that too. Oops. what Turn did was da-da-da. We answered that question. We try to upload these videos onto YouTube. Please find us and follow us on YouTube, as if once we get to 1,000 subscribers, we can do a live stream for Paint 101. I wanted to actually teach everyone how to actually do Paint 101, and with that, I actually already have the materials done for it. But YouTube won't allow me to live stream unless I have 1,000 subscribers. It's really stupid, but yeah, YouTube's YouTube. Do you guys ship to Texas? Yes, we do. We do ship to we ship to North America. So that's awesome. You can always check our website out. Oh, I can't scroll. Thank you for the Gundam Marker airbrush feedback. No problem. We always want you guys to have all the information you require, so you can make the best of your decision. We don't really want you to buy something that's not really worth it for you. Marker airbrush feedback was good. Yeah. So in my opinion about the Gundam Marker airbrush, it's amazing if you want to add small details. If you're like a straight builder, and you know how when you build HGs and there's some parts that just should come in a separate color separation, they give you a sticker and you're like, whatever. That's really amazing. Just grab the Marker airbrush, mask that off, spray it, exactly what Sam did with her Hello Kitty Gundam, like the yellow Vulcans. Just masked it, sprayed it. Looks a lot better than applying stickers or hand brushing. Like, it will look a lot better than hand brushing because it applies smooth. And the way that the Marker airbrush, the Gundam markers, the way that paints are, it sticks to your plastic without priming as much. So it's pretty good for you to casually build and casually do detailing. But once you kind of get into wanting to do more custom painting, like once you get to the point where aside from just detail, I've seen people, like we have people that built their entire kit from Gundam Marker airbrush. And I've always asked them, like, why don't you just transition to a normal airbrush? And they're like, I like this better. It's easier, it's simpler. So it can be done. How many subscribers are you at now? We have, I think, 200 and something subscribers. So we have a long way to go for our YouTube channel. Come on, guys. I know we can do it. Awesome. We'll be ordering from you guys. Yes, you can order on our site. It's www.panahobby.store. And if you have any more additional questions, you can be free to email us at sales@panahobby.store. Any tips for hand brushing? Entire kits are easier or better to jump into airbrush? Okay, if you are serious about this hobby, by serious I mean like you actually want to do a full custom kit, not like super crazy or whatever. Just the fact that you want to paint a kit a different color. Even the fact that, hey, I bought an RX-78 and I don't want it to be white, blue, and red. I want it to be black, yellow, and green. Just the fact that you're committed to repainting a kit, hands down, I cannot stress, airbrushing is 100 times better and 10 times easier than hand brushing. Like airbrushing, I can teach anyone how to airbrush in like 2 hours, like easy, 2 hours. And then after that, you can just get better yourself because it just takes experience of how to select colors, how to apply colors, how to do shadings, those kind of stuff. But in the basic format and the very raw basic form of changing colors, it's very easy to airbrush. You're serious means dropping a ton of crap. No, not about that. But, it's not serious as in like dropping a ton of cash. I mean serious as in like you actually know you like the hobby. We're not trying to persuade everyone to drop all the money if they're not ready. We don't want that. We don't want you to like spend so much money and you end up not liking the hobby. We want you to have a good time because at the end of the day, that's what we were trying to do. That's why we have a paint room here. That's why we encourage everyone, if they're local, if they're able to get to Panda Hobby, you can actually get to Panda Hobby to our paint room and rent our entire setup to try airbrushing. See if you like it. All you have to pay for is like legit like $15 for the rent and whatever paint you use. Like you just buy the paint. So you can essentially get away with $20, $30 to try airbrushing for the entireness of it to see if you like it. And by seriousness, I mean like if you like if you are actually building it and you want to make it as a good job, because a lot of people are like, oh, I want to customize, but they don't really want to do it. Like I tell them, okay, if you want to customize, try to hand brush first, try to airbrush first, test this, test that. And they're not willing. They just want a straight build, but they keep saying that they want to customize. So what I mean my series is in you're willing to actually paint your model, you're willing to actually customize your model, then I would say just go airbrush, because it's much easier. Learning how to airbrush, it's a lot easier to learning how to handbrush. But a handbrush is a lot cheaper than airbrush. That's why everyone starts off with handbrushing, and everyone gets discouraged by handbrushing, because handbrushing is very, very hard. Now, some tips for you at home that want to try handbrushing. I have the Zaza Beaver Ka. Want to paint new to the hobby. Believe it or not, my suggestion always is if your first kit to paint a kit that you do not care about. Do not use your holy grail kit. Do not use the most popular kit that you love or whatever. Don't use that kit to paint. Use some random kit you have. Use a garbage kit. Use that kind of stuff. Because what you want to do is you want to get the hang of painting and just kind of not be scared of it. Because your first time putting paint onto the kit, everyone's scared. Even I'm like scared about it. So at the end of the day is you want to try it and do it so that you have more experience to apply to your real kit. Now, believe me or not, master grades are actually much easier to paint than high grades or SDs or anybody else. So if you guys are actually getting into it and you want to paint, master grades are actually really, really easy. Here's the reason why. Part separation. Because master grades have so many different parts, you don't need to mask, you don't need to color in the lines, you don't need to have different advanced techniques to separate your coloring and your painting. You can actually just paint the piece by itself. You can physically, what I did when I first started was I would look at a kit like a Zazabi, and I'd be like, okay, I wanted to paint Zazabi, I would turn the red to blue. I would just paint every single red piece blue. If there's a different color red piece, I'll paint it to a darker blue. I'll just match the pieces back to the color. So when it comes back to color, like the paint job, the design is already done for me. So anything that's green is already like another color. Anything that's yellow is already another color. I don't have to think. I just have to go through the process of doing it. So it's so much easier. So that's tip number one if you want to start painting. Paint some kit that you don't really like, and then choose a MG, a master grade to paint, because you can just choose the pieces and paint the pieces. Second part is if you actually use hand painting, go with acrylics. Acrylics are easier to paint with. We highly suggest using the AK's 3rd gens because they're new, and as well as they're very highly regarded in the market right now, and they actually go on pretty smooth. So it's easier to actually apply. And if you don't want to get into 3rd gens AKs, you can actually use any of the paints. We would suggest thinning it out. So what you want to do is you want to thin out 1-to-1 ratio. You want to thin it out 1 part thinner, 1 part paint. The thinning allows the paint to still stay in the liquid format, so it allows your brush strokes to hide. And what you want to do is you want to do a nice light layer in one direction, change the orientation, and then do another layer so that your brush strokes will hide each other and kind of even it out. Another tip for hand brushers and hand painters out there is if you're painting and you want to use the biggest paintbrush. Everyone makes a mistake of actually getting a small, tiny paintbrush, and they always end up like getting this tiny paintbrush, and they just go at it like 1 millimeter at a time. No, what you're supposed to do is you want to get the biggest paintbrush possible for that piece. So if you have a tiny piece that's like 1 centimeter, you'd want like close to 1 centimeter of a paintbrush, a flathead, to just brush it on, because the less passes that you do, the less paint strokes, the less amount, like the more smoother the surface is. So if you're looking at a piece and you want to paint it in one color, take a flathead brush and just go one direction, and then turn it, go one direction, go in one direction. I tend to find that if I go in one direction and I pull my paintbrush back and go another direction again, like the same direction, it's much easier for me to control my strength. But if I go like this back and forth, when I go like this, it kind of clumps up the paint and it causes a lot of the stuff to not be too uniform. So all for your Instagram guys, 100% agree. Yeah, but Instagram is going to be cutting you guys off, so I'm going to be calling it for today. Thank you guys for hanging out, and stay safe. Hope to see you guys next time.